What's good, party people? This is Voodoo in the Woods. I'm According to Woods. He's Voodoo Maximus, former U of MMA champion, and UFC 270 is in the books. It is history, and we're going to break it all down for you, with you, and all of your friends. Hopefully, your friends, your enemies too.
That's right.
Let's get on that. But we start off, man, with a crazy,
Wait,
crazy
wait, wait,
bang.
wait, 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 wait,
Uh
wait, wait,
oh,
wait,
what
wait, wait.
happened?
Hey. Officially, your nickname has been changed to 8 or more a day Woods. Because that is what it is. 8 or more Woods. I'm very happy to be here with my main man. 8 or more. He's always into something. He's always getting into something. You know what I'm saying? This is how he functions. He's got to be doing something. So it is what it is. 8 or more Woods.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. It's just like I got no time for shit that I don't dig, and this, all the time for the shit that I do. So it's
Yeah.
just, it's all the shit that I do, or whatever there was an analogy I wanted to do, but my fucking brain just fucking conked out on me. But a whole lot of fucking fights. Holy shit.
Yeah.
So and we're already getting the fucking comments. So in Artman with the plan, Fight Life Nation, Marcos Martinez says, "Greetings, Adam and Voodoo. Can't wait to hear your take on the events." And he,
Oh yeah.
much like Aaron Morrow or MMA Jap Junkie over on Twitter, we're actually in house at the Honda Center for UFC 270. So I'm interested to see your guys'
Appreciate
take. So shout out to Fight Life Nation. Go ahead and follow him and all of the pictures and interviews that he does over on all of his social medias right there. Fight Life Nation. Bam. The good brother Shaman Steve. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Shaman
Yeah, man.
Steve.
Right on.
What's up, Shaman Steve? Good to see you. Good to see you. Let's get this, bro.
Yes, and Mick Mac handling it from Australia, saying, "Hey, Voodoo, have you been working out?"
Just a little bit. I'm back in the gym, man. I'm back in the gym. I'm feeling strong again. So it's time to hit the turf running. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey, when I was growing up, in Nigeria, I remember this one particular experience. Like, me and my mom will go like on some, let's say, a quick outing. We're going to the store. We're going here or there. So the public transportation are these like yellow buses or or vans or whatnot or sedans. So when we exit these buses, you have to hit the ground running, otherwise you're gonna fall on your face. So these buses don't come to a stand. Sometimes they keep in motion. They tell you to hop off, because they are on a schedule. So in these instances, I remember as a youngster having to hop out while these buses are moving, and like kind of almost like doing a running backwards, so to speak, to keep up with the momentum so you don't fall forward on your face. So that's what popped in my head.
I like it. I like it. That's exactly what I do. I fall completely on my face when I'm at the damn all you can eat food salad bar, sushi, whatever the fuck, because I'm a fat ass brother. There you go. So I
Me
kind
too.
of
Hey, right now I am as well. So I'm just gonna, figure it out. Drop this 30 real quick, just so I can regain my sanity.
hey, oh, sanity. Like the NXT faction. Are you Eric Young, or are you more? God, I can't even remember who else was in the faction. It doesn't matter. They're all released now. So, but muzzle tough to all of you. But
Straight
yeah,
up.
fucking UFC 270 starts off with a crazy banger. We had Jasmine Juice the Vicious. That's what I'm saying. Just Sid Vicious. That's what I'm going with. She is the ruler of the world, at least to Kay Hansen, because she dominated Kay Hansen, the Invicta veteran, uh, like every round, almost every exchange. Not to say that Kay didn't have some bright spots, because I mean, obviously training out of Raw Talent Boxing, Classic Fight Team, as well as 10th Planet Buena Park, all in
hmm
California, Southern
hmm
California, Orange County.
hmm
Shout out to Orange County. But I mean, Canada, fucking stand up, man. I don't know if it was the Tim Hortons or the maple syrup or the Molsons, but
Mm-hmm.
Jasmine absolutely annihilated Kay Hansen in one of the best UFC debuts. I was
Mm-hmm.
going to say in history, but definitely on the card. And there were two stellar UFC debuts, that and another Orange County, actually Southgate, contemporary in Victor Henry, but we'll get to that.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
your thoughts on Jasmine versus Kay?
We had a case of a taller individual versus a smaller individual. Uh, just Suda Vicious was the taller individual. Excellent reach, long arms, long legs. Used them efficiently, kept the distance. Uh, 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 the size of her body when they're on the ground made a huge difference. She was able to smother the smaller Kay Hansen for the majority of the time. By the time we got into the third round, halfway through the third round, Kay Hansen was able to uh, um, catch a rhythm that was a higher tempo than Jasmine's, and she began to land shots. But when someone is dominated for what 13 minutes, 2 minutes is not. It could have been enough, but Jasmine was such a fighter that she was able to keep Kay Hansen back, even though she was attacking and being effective with her attack. Jasmine, just Suda Vicious, was able to keep her back and take the unanimous decision. It was an excellent use of the reach and weight advantage because once they're rehydrated, Jasmine was much bigger, much longer. Everything was big. You know what I mean? She had all the advantages, which she used to her advantage. This is why people cut weight to have that advantage. And it worked perfectly. She did not misuse her advantage and she was successful. Unanimous decision victory.
No, 100%. And giving us a little bit of insight, both behind the scenes and there in the arena at the Honda Center in Anaheim, California. Fight Life Nation says, I was there for every fight. Kay is coming off over a year absence and overcame an eating disorder and had
Wow.
to fight up a weight class from normal. I was frustrated. Kay kept accepting positions. You can't be a smaller fighter and not scramble, And you were talking about obviously Jasmine getting into a rhythm, and it looks like in the instance of Kay Hansen, and I'm not trying to make light of it because that's very serious in terms of eating disorder and
Mm-hmm.
time away from the octagon, especially that big fucking fight that she had with Jin Yun Frey, kind of coming
Mm-hmm.
in, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in the words of the immortal Gloria Estefan and the Miami Sound Machine, the rhythm is going to get you, and that's
Mm-hmm.
exactly what it seemed
Mm-hmm.
that happened to Kay Hansen. With all of that, it was just like she was a little bit off. I don't know what to attribute it, but she went out. She in terms of accountability, you
Mm-hmm.
know, she's great because she was just like, hey, it wasn't my night, whatever, back into the gym. So, um,
The
shout out to Kay.
Hey, as in the words of Wu Tang, the saga continues. Wu Tang, Wu Tang. You know what I'm saying? She will continue. She's gonna hit the turf running. You know, uh, that first slip. When you first slip, you might burn your knees, and that burn, it's uncomfortable. But you gotta hop right back up and get right back on and start running again. If you're in a race, so we know Kay Hansen's gonna rebound from whatever issues she's uh, going through right now, and come back and perform a lot better upon her return. We will see. But in this next matchup, we
Oh wait,
have
wait, 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 wait! Before you go,
okay, okay, all right.
one of the greatest matchmakers in I mean, all of California history into Arizona, Harvey Castanello says,
Harvey.
I bet against Kay Hansen because she never faced the top fighters in Camo. And for those who don't know, Camo is the California amateur mixed martial arts organization. And in terms of bantamweight, I actually just happen to have the California
Yeah.
state title, the very first California state title, won by none other than Brooke the Bully Mayo back at the Genesis fight card that was put on, co-promoted by the great Chris Cyborg, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, and there you go. There's some insight. Never take. Kay Hansen might be from Southern California, but she fought in cards like Gladiator Challenge. Kind of off into the native casino scene, and nothing
Hmm.
against it. There's been many
Hmm.
a champion that have been built off of the scene, but
Hmm.
again, never kind of testing your metal at what your amateur kind of career has to offer. It doesn't necessarily bode well with with the going into pro, ascending to pro. But I
Hmm.
mean, I could be completely wrong. I don't know what's going on inside of Kay Hansen's mind, Jim, whatever, especially overcoming that eating disorder. As a female, that is rough, and especially a female in a public light and platform. It's
Hmm.
not easy,
Hmm.
and so I mean, total disclosure. When you talk to Tyler Wombles of Classic Fight Team, you talked about Chu Gutierrez of Raw Talent Boxing, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
The folks over at 10 Planet Witten Park. Those are people that I hold in high regard, but count as friends. So it's not like she has a bad team around her or what have you. I think she said
Hmm.
it best. It just wasn't her night. That maybe there was too much going outside of the octagon happening or what have you. Don't know,
Hmm.
but yeah, I can't wait to see Kay back in it. And
Too.
she's only fought once for Camo, and she ran over a girl. Might have helped to have multiple amateur fights, and that could be the case. And that's one of the things that I love about combat sports and MMA and everything. There's no set way of doing
Hmm.
this, and
Yep.
making a
Yep.
champion. You could be somebody of a prominent gym, and you be a world beater, but then you could be of a gym that nobody's ever heard of. In this case of Brandon Moreno, which we'll get
Hmm.
to. An Entrum in Tijuana, right? That
Hmm.
wasn't a world
Hmm.
class gym until Brandon decided to stay and stake his claim. And even though he has ventured, and lives and resides here in the United States, he still is very much a part of that team, right? So
Hmm.
you could have
Hmm.
that. You could have somebody that has a stellar amateur career, and then you can't really turn it on in the pros. Or you could be a world beater in the amateurs and then a world beater in pro. Like there's just so many variables that it takes to make a credible a fighter or contender or what have you. That's why I get hyped every time there's a fight card in any, whether it be
Hmm.
amateur, you pro, regional, somewhere fucking in Russia, 5-on-5 with motherfuckers in Batman costumes. I don't give a shit. I will watch it because, like, again, what it takes to be this elite level, there's no blueprint. There is no set foundation on this is how you do ABC, blah blah blah. There is no NCAA. There is no whatever. It's just you and your coaches kind of devise a plan, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So yeah, man, I've fucking a. But I just well wishes to Kay and the rest of the team.
That's
Big
right.
big fucking shout out to Jasmine, because she is fucking Sid Vicious. My God, yeah. So there you
Just
go. Yes, but you were before I so rudely interrupted you. You were on something about the next fight, and I want to hear it. Obviously, this is former LFA champion Vanessa Lilmonts Demopoulos
that's
against
right.
Silvana Gomez Juarez. But
Right. Right.
you were heading into it, so I'm going to let you finish, good sir. So go
So,
for it.
Demopolis versus Juarez. Now, going into the match, I wasn't sure what I was going to see in Juarez. I've seen her fight before, and she lost in the fight that I saw. But coming into this match, you could see a determination in the eyes and in the expression, right? Her 1-2s were some of the sharpest 1-2s I've seen in a while. which all found its mark when they hit Vanessa Demopoulos in the face. She was getting smashed. She was getting smashed. Um, she actually was dropped by a beautiful right hand, I think. A
Mm-hmm.
straight one right down the pipe, hit her. She went down. But upon hitting the ground, she was woke back up by the ground. And once she woke back up, she realized, oh, okay, the fight's on the ground now. Silviana went in for the kill. Vanessa initiated jiu-jitsu, you know, uh, eventually securing an armbar and finishing the job. It was a beautiful transition, uh, worthy of study, worthy of study. Her entry was quite intriguing. Um, she got the submission, got the 50G bonus. What else can you ask for?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the first, $50,000 bonus of the
Mhm.
night. Obviously, not the last, but I mean,
Fight two.
yeah,
Mhm.
this undercard was just amazing. Obviously, you're going to get stellar contests. In the main of the main half of the card, the pay per view. The $75 price point pay per view. You're going to get that.
Mhm.
But I mean, this right here, you could have flopped. You could have put everything on the pay-per-view portion of the card, on the undercard, and then all of the undercard fights in the pay-per-view position. I think people would be just as happy, just as satisfied,
Yeah,
which is amazing. And
yeah.
Shaman Steve, clarifying it further, yeah, it was an
Overhand, right? Okay.
overhand right, and Marcos Martinez says the biggest pop of the night was until Moreno's entrance was the overhand right that crack that cracked Vanessa, which my
Yeah.
goodness, the contingent of Mexican fans, man. We had, I think it was like how many, like at least four, maybe six, and Trem,
Yeah.
uh, fighters on the card. Including one Brandon Moreno. Obviously, Silvana was one of them.
Mhm.
Migrating from her native, South America, and basically, heading north to Mexico to Tijuana, training at that
Mhm.
gym, and that was whoo, buddy, man. I mean, again, as we were going to find out in the post-fight speech of one former LXF champion, Victor Henry, he was talking about,
Mhm.
hey, not being 34 years of age, right, and
Mhm.
making the most of this run, right? And Silvana, my goodness, she is one who actually take Victor's 34 and add three onto it, and that you get
Mhm.
the age of Silvana, right? So
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
is. I mean, you can't tell me that she, of course, this is her debut. Well, no, it isn't her debut because she actually lost to
She lost the
another,
first one. Mhm.
yeah, to another former LFA, strawweight champion, and the same way in an armbar. But
Mhm.
the tales of how we got there was completely different. Lupe
Mhm.
Godinez was a little bit more aggressive, right, than Vanessa Demopoulos, but finished her
Mhm.
off the same way. I still, you know what, I want them to give Silvana one more, and I think she's going to be, you know, uh, pretty good. But I mean,
She,
much to the opposite of what I feel, Harvey saying Silvana Gomez Juarez has only faced cans in her pro career. She's with Entrum, so I bet against her too. Ooh, oh,
hey,
and
hey, we did too, though. In all honesty.
I mean, I can't speak on that. Yeah, I'm gonna I'm gonna deflect. I'm gonna backpedal
Yeah.
right into this wall. Right by the end of the show, I'll probably be embedded firmly in this backdrop that I have here. But I mean, and you were saying, yeah, we kind of picked Vanessa to win. I didn't think it was
Not
going
that
to be
fast
like that.
though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
I
wild.
call the split decision.
Yeah, yeah, which I think Harvey's going to be absolutely thrilled because we have another Entrim fighter in the next fight. We have none other than Gennaro Valdez against Matt the Steamroller Frivola, totally owning up to his moniker and steamrolling Gennaro. This one, holy shit! If Gennaro didn't like his brain cells, I mean, he fucking, was able to excrete them pretty heavily or unceremoniously by Matt Frivola. This shit was, I mean, Mike Beltran, I don't know if he was a fan of The Walking Dead because that's that's what I had in my head. Like fucking uh Gennaro was essentially a fucking zombie for a lot of it, you know? Oh, I'm still whoa. There you are. Yeah,
What's up, man?
he was a zombie. He was a fucking zombie. It was wild.
You had me cracking up. Hey, Frivola was more focused than this cat. He was more focused. I believe the Grand Arena, the Honda Arena, got to him. It got to him. He might have been in shock, man, because Frivola just ran right through him like hot knife through butter. Um, Whenever you get opportunities like this, especially when you're in the position of a Matt Frivola, you got to go out with a bang. And he went out with a bang. He was giving one of them shots, one of them Bambino shots, and he knocked that sucker right out the park, man. It was his night, and he made the very best of it. Sometimes life throws you a easy pitch, and you just got to knock it out the park. Shout out to Matt Frivola, man. He did what he had to do. I mean, of course, the young man was what undefeated up until this point. I actually picked the young man to win, but hey, it is what it is. Sometimes, man, you win some, you lose some. It's how you return to come do it again. And Matt Frivola came back to really do it, and he did it big. So shout out to Frivola, Valdez. Hey, man, come back again. You know what I'm saying? And let's see what you're really made of.
Yeah, and Fight Life Nation says what a gross stoppage. I love Mike Beltran, but he was just like, if he does, he does. Uh, I'm I I don't disagree with anything you said. I love Mike Beltran, but yeah, that shit was wild. Shit was wild. Like even fucking Rogan and DC were just having a fucking field day going like, holy fucking shit. Like that was it. And Gennaro wasn't winning. No, 100%. He was, you know, no, he wasn't winning at all. Not in the slightest bit. Um, fucking steamroller all day. And what a way to fucking turn it around, right? Because he got finished, right, with a pretty, fucking quick knockout in his last outing, and I was like, that dude's the freeloader, not the steamroller. But he made me eat my fucking words. So there you go. Shout out to Frivola, man. And
Hey, yeah, he steamrolled right over that dude, man.
yeah,
Smashed him to bits. Smashed him to bits. It is what it is.
it is what it is, right? So we're heading into the third fight of, or actually the fourth fight of the card. Apparently, I can't count. Missed that day on Sesame Street, but we have Tony Gravely against Simon Oliveira, and
Yeah.
that is again one of the wildest pronunciation of Simon.
Mhm.
The putting the waters together to get there. It's like the taking the fucking bumpy road in on your way home. But yeah, that bumpy road was fucking gravelly. Yeah, and that dude was all gravel to the efforts of one Simon Oliveira in terms of him trying to win this contest.
Mhm. Hey, Simon Oliveira was well trained, coming out of the camp of the infamous Pedro Hizo. Anyone knowing who Pedro Hizo is understands uh, uh, the importance of leg kicks. Well, anyways, this Oliveira fellow, beautiful hands. Everything he did very well. Uh, but the equalizer in this particular matchup was Tony Gravely's previous wrestling experience. He used it, and not just the wrestling experience. Once you've been in the UFC for some time, and you get fresh fish like this, you've already been in the thousand of people arena on well, maybe not on pay-per-view, but at least on fight night. You've been on TV already. You've been in the big arena, at the highest level. So he had that advantage as well. These things matter. Most people might not really think about it, but these little things matter. So when you have a Oliveira Simon making his debut, or you know into a big arena like this, there might have been some shock there. You know, Actually, I'm sorry. I'm tripping.
I was gonna
that's
say
that's
he
the other
fucking
guy.
yeah. I
Hey, he
mean,
was
because
throwing hands. He was doing what he had to do. He was winning. He was winning, but Gravely's wrestling was too much. It was too much. He was able to control a lot of the grappling aspects of the game, but unanimous decision later. You know, he was piecing him up though. Tony
yeah,
was piecing him up. You know what I mean? But the kid was good as well. He was good, but the wrestling was heavy on him, which got him a little weak. And then Tony finished it, the way he did.
yeah. Well, in the instance of Gravely, man, like he makes his debut, his UFC debut, on the undercard of Junior Dos Santos versus
That's right.
Curtis Blades, right?
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah,
was in
yeah,
North
yeah,
Carolina, and
yeah.
that, I mean, that was pre-pandemic. That was Saturday, uh, Saturday the 25th of January. So right pre-pandemic. So he might have gotten a little bit of a fucking crowd, but the rest of his career up until this point, up until UFC 270, has been at empty arenas.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that you could forget. You could
yeah.
forget what that feels like and whatever. But he came with came through it with flying colors. And Harvey says, I bet on Gravely as
Yeah.
he came from American Top Team. I mean, I
I
don't know.
picked him to win too.
Yeah, I don't know how
Yeah.
that's going to work with Amanda Nunes in her next fight, because she's no longer with American Top Team. That came down the pipeline of the MMA wire this past week. Heading into UFC 270, and that was a shock to a lot of people. But don't know. I don't want to speculate on what happened. A loss, like that after her being so dominant can, make you kind of knee jerk a bunch of ways, or there might have been some latent problems that weren't addressed and it just became this insatiable albatross where she feels she had to leave, or just, hey, I have enough, fight IQ and I want to make some coin off of it and not just whatever. And maybe I started gym myself. So I don't know what happened. I've heard a lot of rumor and innuendo. I can never
Hmm.
say, but I mean, American Top Team is one of the best gyms in the world, and you know, yeah, that's that. But
One conspiracy will be Kayla Hansen getting an
Harrison,
opportunity in the UFC to challenge for that title. And you know how it
Yeah,
goes. Yeah, we've seen this before, man. John Jones, Rashad Evans. You know what I'm saying? Same gym, same belt. They're gonna fight each other. We've seen this many, many times.
yeah.
Perhaps this is why Usman and who was that person in this gym that he had? You know what I mean? That
What
challenged him. Was that
uh, that
the
was
Brazilian fella?
wasn't it fucking Street Jesus Masvidal?
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's something.
Yeah,
Somebody
yeah.
was a
Somebody,
teammate of his
one of those
that fought,
guys.
that forced him to leave or whatever. You know what I mean? So whatever, whatever.
I
These
think
things
Colby too.
happen.
Colby too.
Right, right.
Yeah.
These things happen, and this is what we're witnessing. So you have to leave. You have to leave. Sometimes you get stagnated. It seems Amanda figured out she's been stagnant in her learning in that facility.
Mm.
Perhaps now she has to travel on and see something else. Or perhaps it's a financial opportunity for her to create her own thing and put her energy into her own thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows?
Who knows? That is absolutely apropos, But you mentioned moving on, which is what we're going to do, and we've got Jack Della Maddalena against Pete Rodriguez. And speaking of moving on, like this dude didn't want to fucking touch gloves with Pete Rodriguez. He was just like, "Fuck all that shit," and even to the dismay of one Daniel Cormier. It's like, what the fuck, dude? Like you yeah, he was kind of up in arms, and it was a bad, bit of sportsmanship. But this one
Hey,
finishes. What happened?
you can't tell a man what to do when he's in there, man. Hey, look. I understand what they're saying, but it's his life on the line in that moment. And if he feels touching hands is gonna weaken his desire to destroy his opponent, so be it. He would not touch hands. I cannot fault this man for this. This is his choice. We do not control his choice. The man is in that cage, possibly could have lost his life, and you want him to be a nice guy? He ain't gotta be no nice guy. He's in there for one reason, and that's absolute destruction to the opponent, to the enemy. Straight up, I am not mad at him. We will shake hands after. The Diaz brothers subscribe to this idea. Hey man, we're in the same weight class. Don't say what's up to me, man. Don't. I don't want to hear it, man. I understand. They are entitled to this. They are entitled to this. You know what I'm saying? Because they are the one that is going to have to walk this road. As this Jake Della Maddalena, it's his road to walk. So please don't tell him how to walk this road. DC, you know what I'm saying? DC, just because you have the opportunity to be there live does not mean you can use it in a way that you did. Don't call the dude out, man. That's none of your business. You know what I'm saying? Like on the reels, though, that's none of his business if he shook hands or not. If you don't want to shake hands, you don't want to shake hands. Many opportunities in life, in that cage, people didn't want to shake hands. You didn't say nothing then. Why are you tripping on this dude? He don't want to shake hands. He don't want to shake hands. How about that?
Can't we all just get along, motherfucker?
Hey,
Jesus,
that's what I'm saying.
Jesus,
That's what I'm saying.
come on,
That's what I'm saying.
Come on, it's it's one of those deals, right? You fucking shake hands and then punch each other in the face. Separate yourself from consciousness.
I'll shake your hand
isn't
afterwards.
I guess. I mean, I want to see everybody love each other in the punchy kicky submitting stuff. I don't know. That's just me. Maybe I'm just weird. Fight Life Nation says, can we take a second to recognize the sick shirt Adam has on, the shark / avalanche / the earthquake / Golga, the great John Tenta, one of the best heels of my childhood. Speaking of heels, we've got John Tenta, we've got the Giant, we've got the Booty Man or the Zodiac, or Brother Bootai, the Disciple, and one of my all-time favorites, the Taskmaster, Kevin Sullivan. Us. Yes, Uncle Kevin. One of the greatest ever. So, and if you guys want to know how to find some cool shit, Violent Miracle. They're not a sponsor, not a cheap plug, but make some awesome shit. One of this one, I think I've got a Bruiser Brody one coming in the mail. So I'm just saying, but no, I love the spirit of wrestling. So
who's that at the top?
It's Tenta. It's Earthquake. He was a shark.
Okay.
He was a shark in WCW during that run of the Dungeon of Doom because they needed Hogan liked monsters, right? So they literally made a monster factory for him in the form of Dungeon of Doom, and one of his best friends was one of the guys. Fucking
That's
Brutus the Barber Beefcake ended up with the Zodiac. And he painted himself like a fucking zebra. I don't know what the fuck that was. But yeah, I mean, you had big King Curtis Ayukea as the fucking master of it, because he wanted to have Curtis have a fucking, payday, Ted Turner payday or whatever. And that got fucking, that got dropped. He got fucking dropped, man. But I would have loved to see a little bit more Curtis, because at the same time you had Olmec from Legends of the Hidden Temple, who is also a fucking talking head through a wall, and Curtis Ikea, they call it antiquing now. It like they fucking threw fucking baby powder in his face and whatever, and he was up against the wall and all. It's fucking wrestling. Just fucking go YouTube it. It's some of the most awesome or not fucking shit ever, man.
Hey, like you said it though. You said awesome. Jag de la Macarena, his performance was awesome because
he was.
He went right over, man, and toe tagged this dude, sent him back home in the box, straight up. It was what it was. He beat him down. Shaman
Steve saying Jack Della Maddalena started his pro career 0-2, major chip on his shoulder. No, 100%. And Shaman Steve, as somebody who reads auras and energy, and is very proficient in such things, that's a pretty accurate assessment,
Oh man, hey, Shaman Steve was our navigator, man. Every time we would go into the Angeles Crest National Forest, He's a surveyor, so he does all that research. You know what I mean? Like we always lose GPS signal when we're out there, so it's very important we do our research before we go. So he handles all that. You know, he's the navigator. He's the navigator when we go hiking.
That is awesome because um, I wanted like in what is it 97? I wanted a Lincoln Navigator one, and then two, like I'd be watching fucking Family Feud, and these dumbasses survey says, and they fucking like, oh, like what is the favorite topping of a fucking on a pizza? This motherfucker says, oh, cotton candy. Like what the fuck are you doing? Your family's looking at you. They're never gonna live this down during fucking Thanksgiving dinner or Hanukkah or whatever the fuck, and you look like a dumbass, and you cost everybody the fucking thousands of dollars. You fuck, So I am no Shaman Steve, is what I'm trying to say. So, and great take on the glove touch by Voodoo. I totally agree. Again, I just want everybody. I want everybody to be friends and then beat each other's asses. That's what I'm saying. Maybe I'm asking for too much. I've heard that before. And Harvey said Pete Rodriguez was supposed to fight for me at Epic Fighting for the EAFL match, but did not get his medicals done correctly. I knew he was going to get smashed and bet against him too. Damn, I'm getting fucking betting picks from Harvey. Shit.
Hey, but hey, I think we both picked Jack Della Maddalena to win this one as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, fuck, I know better. During the pandemic, I was feeling squirrely, and I put some money on somebody who will remain nameless, and that person got finished, and I was like, oh, I'm never doing this again. Never doing this again. Fuck that. The lack of it hurt my heart, and it made me feel dirty too. It made me feel dirty because that was something that I swore I'd never do. I was like, I love everyone, right? I want everyone to fucking win in this MMA fucking deal, whatever. I want everybody to win. And yeah, and I felt weird that I was looking at somebody to win because it was gonna, basically gain financial means for me. So I was like, after that, I was like, fuck that. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So when they're talking about odds and spreads and the fucking over and under, I don't know what the fuck anyone's talking about. So, and that's Paul Perez says, forget Richard Dawson surveys, but the respect for him kissing all the women. But I'd like to hike in the Angeles National Forest with a surveyor. Be careful what you wish for. And again, if you haven't checked out the main event with Paul Perez and Beto Gray, go ahead and do that as well on the Facebook and on the YouTube. Great, good. I mean, those are good brothers. Hashtag brother me softly. So shout out to them. We're gonna fucking have that happen. Paul Perez and Beto Gray are gonna go with you and Shaman Steve and in the Angeles National Forest, and I'll probably eat a cheeseburger while you guys are doing it. So, yeah, and
no problem.
Yeah, Voodoo, it's not that cool,
bro. I took my kids to football practice this morning, and I had this on. I just never took it off. I don't know. Definitely not cold.
I'm feeling that you're channeling the essence of, speaking of like Kevin Sullivan, fucking that dark ministry in Florida. You're channeling the spirit of one Purple Haze, Mark Lewin. That's it. Cloak and Dagger. That's the one that fucking Undertaker stole all of his fucking mythical shit from, is the fucking Purple Haze. Go ahead and put that in the YouTube machine and you'll see exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. That and the spoiler Don Jardines fucking walking across the fucking top rope and shit like that. You put those two together and you get the fucking Undertaker, And Shaman Steve says hoodies all day.
All day long.
Yeah. Unless you're in Florida and George Zimmerman is around. Jesus Christ. R.I.P.
Hey, I might have to clap him first, man. Straight up.
I'm just saying. But speaking of things that could be said, holy shit, this should have been a fight of the night. the Raoni Braceros against Victor Henry. This, I mean, they were talking about essentially the bantamweight division in the UFC probably being the deepest division in the UFC, and you saw exactly why. Victor Henry, this is his UFC debut, yes, but 26 fights, two titles, international competition. Victor Henry has seen and done it all, right?
Yep.
In
Yep.
terms of having his career exist outside of the UFC, you know,
Mhm.
and yeah, I'm gonna go with Harvey on this one. I bet on Victor Henry just because
Mhm.
he is with Josh Barnett and Chad George,
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
UWF USA slash
Mhm.
CMMA contingent, and yeah, that's a
Mhm.
pretty fucking good deal. I hope you put a pretty penny because in terms of the I do know a little bit about the betting shit. So the odds were that Haoni was going to fucking beat the shit out of Victor Henry. That's what I
Yeah.
got. And
Yeah. Yeah.
no, we all, anybody that has seen and knows of Victor Henry, knew that it wasn't going to be an easy fucking walk in the park for Haoni. But that's it, And Victor Henry fought Bobby Sanchez in 2012 in
King of the
King of the
Cage.
Cage. That's paying dues. Bravo. No, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, we saw Victor Henry a few months ago at XFL. He won the belt against the Belizean, right? Am I right?
You're right that he beat the Belizean warrior Albert Morales, former Bellator and UFC veteran, also looking for a fight. But I
Right.
believe it was the Lights Out Extreme Fighting Championship. The acronym would be LXF rather than XFL, which The Rock just bought from Vince McMahon. I think there's only been one XFL champion in the $1 million game way back in like 2005. I want to say it was, but that was the Los Angeles Extreme, and then the whole thing went to shit for 15 years, and then it got up again, and then it got down again.
LXF. My apologies, LXF.
And I mean,
Oh.
Lights Out Extreme Fighting just happens to be co-owned by NFL great, as we're getting into acronyms, and San Diego Chargers great Sean Lights Out Merriman. So
Yeah.
that's probably why he had the football, the balling of the foot on his mind. So I'm just saying. But yeah, no, fucking Victor Henry, former
Yes.
deep bantamweight champion, former Lights Out Extreme fighting champion, bantamweight champion rather,
Yep.
and
Yep.
just showing exactly it, and I think it was pretty fucking touching. And speaking of touchy, I fucking completely went over my head as we were talking about it. But fucking Joe Rogan, you kind of talked about it off air. Voodoo, you're like Joe Rogan is the fucking prop. We saw it
Yep.
first in Low Monster Demopolis's win, and she literally jumped into the waiting arms of Joe Rogan. I didn't know that didn't. He wasn't waiting there. She jumped, and it would have been really foolish if he didn't go like that. So he was doing a solid.
He didn't want to diss anyone. He didn't want
Yeah,
to diss anyone.
he did a solid for the homie. Is
Yep.
what he did.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
shout out to Joe Rogan for all that he does. That's one of the reasons I literally have him right here.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
just some
right.
mini Joe to fucking channel the energy off of. And also, speaking of classic fight team, in Kay Hansen's team, I actually have a potted resemblance of Joe Rogan, made by the father of one Tyler Wombles of classic fight team.
Nice.
So
Nice.
I got two Rogans to kind of
Nice.
put me in the right direction. And yes,
Nice.
Strowman seems as Albert Morales is the one who Victor
Yes.
Henry beat
Yes. Yes.
for
Yes.
the Lights Out Extreme Fighting Bantamweight title. But no, I
That's
mean,
right.
again, I love the fact that they brought and touched on Victor's extensive training under Josh Barnett. And it's wild because Josh Barnett, in terms of the UFC, right? Maybe there isn't a great relationship. They had him sit on the sidelines for so long for an errant, drug test and whatever, that it actually was it went Barnett's way, and 2 years out of his career was essentially decimated. As he was north of 35, right, and
Hmm.
what almost more than 10 years removed from his first UFC title win and whatever, and then time was of the essence, and they kind of kept him on in contract and shit like that. But amongst the fucking people on the commentary team, one Joe Rogan, who Josh is good friends with, and it's not because they're friends, it's just look at what Josh has done in his career, right? And all of the fucking principles that he's instilled in Victor Henry. I love that they brought up fucking catch wrestling. I love that DC brought up the fact that even though he beat beat Josh Barnett by decision at the Strikeforce, heavyweight Grand Prix, you know, he called his mama and was like, "I'm hurting, mama. I'm fucking hurting." You know, so that's it. I love that they respected the rise of not just Josh Barnett but Victor Henry specifically. And I loved it, and they also name dropped Christopher Curtis, and that's another guy who is did everything that you could fucking do, you know, uh, to try to get into the UFC. And going back to what I was saying, there is no set standard of what it takes to get into UFC or Bellator or whatever, but all of those proverbial brass rings that you would get to as a fighter to make the ascension to the UFC, they've done everything and whatever, and was out of. I mean, if Shaman Steve saying he saw Victor Henry back in 2012, that was literally fucking 12 years. I mean, 10 years ago. 10 years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah,
Jesus Christ.
yeah.
So I'm just saying. And Fight Life Nation says I only know about Henry because I follow a lot of CMMA guys, right? The California
Hmm.
mixed
Hmm.
martial arts under Chad George. And when I saw the
Hmm.
betting odds, I really wish I would have put a bet down. Henry was ranked number one in Japan on Tapology. No, 100%. And
Hmm.
that also comes from Deep, right? When he won the Deep Bantamweight Championship,
Hmm.
that was the number one guy in Japan in the bantamweight division. And this is
Hmm.
fucking Japan. This is
Hmm. Hmm.
when you go to Japan, when you go to Brazil, literally the vestiges of what the UFC and all of MMA are based around, right? When you go in there and beat one of their people, fuck,
Hmm.
that's something. And Victor did
Hmm.
that damn 4 years ago
Yep.
at
Yep.
least.
Yep.
So shout out to Victor, man. And I really thought, man, if I had another 50K lying around, being in the position of one Dana White and the rest of the UFC or WME endeavor, I would have fucking kicked another 50 G's each of these two away. Actually, that
Hmm.
would be $100,000. Again, I'm not good at the mathematicos, but yeah, man. To me, this is one of the fights of the night.
Uh, Excellent performance by both men, but especially Victor Henry.
Mm-hmm.
His opportunity to fight in these foreign places like Russia and Japan, you know, those people they enjoy combat, so they have arenas. He's had the opportunity to fight in arenas in front of thousands of people. So coming to the UFC and fighting on his pay per view was nothing to him. It was nothing. So that right there was out of the question. The energy he would have spent worrying about that, he was able to drive all that energy into his performance, and he showed out. His defense was phenomenal. Counter striking itself, initiating with the hands and feet, the grappling aspect. Everything was just on point. He made it to the point where the fight remained on the feet, and he shined. The highlight tapes that you could have created from this performance, it's going to be plentiful. I'm sure he can pull out at least 4 minutes of footage, at least 4 minutes of footage that you know what I mean in highlight alone. Excellent performance by a first time uh, um, uh, prospect in the UFC on such a big card. Excellent performance. I do agree that this was fight of the night candidate, but um, Victor Henry outshined him so much that I believe he got a performance bonus for this, didn't
No,
he?
no,
He didn't.
we don't get
What?
enough. Yeah, so the three performance of the night goes to Vanessa Demopoulos. Actually, a side Nurmagomedov, right? And then the fight of
That's
the night
yeah,
goes to
submission.
Moreno and Figueiredo, which I'm not mad at, but again, I would kick two more performance bonuses, or at least like you said, Voodoo, one to Victor Henry. I
You
show
know
up
what
in
I'm
this locker
saying?
room, and
That
fuck
that
you,
performance, that
yeah.
performance was wow. I was in awe just there. I was like, wow, that's that dude I was watching the other day. He
Mhm.
he like he was good then,
Yeah,
and Lights Out, he was good. His performance was good. But this one right here was like, whoa, there was another level to this dude.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I was just like in shock. But man, he's got it. He's got
no,
the juice.
yeah, hundred
He's got the
percent.
juice.
100%. And Fight Life says, he was grossly, he being Victor Henry, it was grossly
Mm.
underrated. Plus 300 underdog, $100 bet would have won you $300. Fuck, damn it.
Hey, we
I should have
called
talked to
Victor
you and
Henry to win.
Harvey. Yeah, I
We
should have
called
talked.
him to win.
Yes,
We knew
I
he
know
was
that.
winning. We picked him.
And that's a good brother. Anytime that, along with Josh, right? Anytime there's an interview to be had or whatever, they both show up, at least for this guy. And
Mm-hmm.
I can't thank him enough, right? Same thing with Chad George and all of the guys and girls at UWF USA and CMMA, respectively. This one, I couldn't have been more proud, more thrilled. And again, as high as everybody who aren't insiders, the people from that were placing bets that have put this much of a disadvantage and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
For if and what Victor Henry is capable of, then you deserve all the fucking money, right?
That's right.
It's like
That's right.
Chris Lieben versus Anderson Silva, and fucking Rogan is telling who ended up being Aubrey Marcus, his co-partner in On It.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, bet the fucking house on the Brazilian, which
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Rogan hadn't said that, we might not have an On It today, and kettlebell shaped in the head of monkeys and shit like that. So,
Mm-hmm. Hey,
shout out
hey,
to that.
hey! Every now and then, like the previous fighters, you know what I mean. Every now and then, life throws you a easy one to knock
Yeah.
out of the park, and whoever betted heavily on Henry would have been that person knocking it out of the park. So it is what it is. You just gotta be wise enough to see your gift when it's in front of you.
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. But speaking of gifts, we got gifted by the first fight of the main card. That was Michael Morales
Mm-hmm.
against Trevin Giles. And Jesus Louises, this is all Michael Morales. This gets, done in the first round, 4 minutes
Mm-hmm.
and 6 seconds of the first round. But, I mean, Jesus Christ, I forgot who he picked on this one, but
I picked
I,
Morales.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
I picked Giles. That was it. We
I
split.
don't. I think yeah, we did split this one. It
We
was
split this
worthy.
one.
It was worthy based on his record, the Morales kid. It was worthy of a coin flip. That I believe that's what we agreed on. Yeah. So Giles came in looking light as hell. I believe he was in the 185-pound division. Now he's come down to the 170-pound division. I saw his face and I was like, wait a minute, something's different. But then they started talking, and it turned out he switched weight class. I didn't catch that early on.
Mm.
But however, he was lighter, faster, slicker. Everything was firing on all cylinders. And the other kid, he from Ecuador, I believe. He came out, he's young, 22-year-old. He's getting his first opportunity in the UFC, and he's gonna make the best of it. So when we've talked in the past of, excuse me, of individuals who come from less, being more driven than those who come from, say, the West, where there's an abundance, right? So this kid, he comes in, and this is his opportunity to make a statement. Came in. The fight was 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 put together based on the skill set these two have in common, which is striking. We knew we were going to see a firefight. Why not open up the card, the main event, with these two guys? And they went at it. Giles was landing shots uh, on command. He was doing what he had to do until he made a mistake. The kid capitalized and TKO'd him. And that was that. It was what it was. The kid made a statement. He made a statement. Morales, Michael Morales, I believe is his name. I remember that based on his performance. So shout out to Michael Morales. It is what it is. He did what he had to do. He knocked out Guile. Some might argue it was an early stoppage or whatnot. It is what it is. The fight was stopped, and he did get pieced up
Yeah.
in that sequence.
Well, a little bit more insight. I'll be honest. From Harvey Castanello, I bet on Michael Morales just because he has the
Yeah,
same name as one of my boys in Queens. So shout out to the
yeah.
Queens representing Michael Morales and Harvey. I mean,
Hey,
that's
but
like
but
it.
but more importantly, Harvey is winning in his card. He's
Yeah,
winning. He's
that's
he's he's betting right on every last one of them. How
yeah.
much you
Well,
put down, Harvey? How much you put down? How much you
I
put down
mean,
on Michael?
I mean, I that's too rich for my blood. What everybody's doing with their own fucking pocketbooks, I don't know. Whatever. Like I should have stopped at fucking Funko Pops and shit like that long ago. But they just released a fucking Rocky Funko Pops along with like a Mike Tyson,
Oh,
Ryan Garcia. I believe it's Julio Cesar Chavez. There's four boxing ones, and I was like, no, I fucking gotta have those. So I'm
that's
just
what's
saying.
up.
At Fight Life Nation says when Morales entered the arena, he was holding an Ecuadorian flag and was
Hmm.
slightly booed until the camera caught that he was also holding a Mexican
A
flag.
Mexican flag,
Morales trains with Brandon Moreno, which again,
right?
I mean, that's another one, much like the gosh, the Mademoiselle earlier in the card. Silvana Gomez Juarez coming from
Hmm.
South America and venturing up to Tijuana in Entrim Gym, and
Hmm.
you know it was all good, man. It was all good.
It's a sign of respect. It's a
Yeah,
sign of
absolutely.
respect. Yeah, when you respect uh the people that offer you their gym. If you come from perhaps Central America, now you're coming closer to the United States in Tijuana, Mexico, an excellent gym over there that takes you in. It's only right. It's only right that you represent that nation. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Like us, when we were in the amateurs, I had several gyms. It is right that I name all these gyms that I train at. You know what I'm saying? The 805 MMA, the BJ Muda, the formerly BJ Muda. You know what I'm saying? The PG grappling. You know what I mean? The flying kick martial arts. It's only right that you represent your base of training. You know, these are the landmarks that is helping to shape you as a weapon of destruction that you're training to become when you enter that octagon. So it is only right that these people carry the two flags. So you say that there was some booing. Could you explain that for me one more time?
yeah. It says when Morales entered the arena, he was holding an Ecuadorian flag and was
Mm-hmm.
slightly booed until the camera caught that he was also holding a Mexican flag. Morales trains with Brandon Moreno, and that's kind of it, right? Where that was a very pro Mexican
Mm-hmm.
crowd in
Mm-hmm.
Anaheim, and the where I was watching it, shout out to the good brother Raiden Bozio, son of the great drummer Terry Bozio,
Mm-hmm.
who basically played the skins for Frank Zappa way back in the day. But yes, there was a large booing. There was a
Mm-hmm.
large Mexican crowd, and most people was saying like, "Oh well, he was a bunch of people traveled up from Tijuana to
Mm-hmm.
fill up the capacity at the Honda
Mm-hmm.
Center, but
Mm-hmm.
it's Orange County. You got like
Mm-hmm.
one of the biggest like Mexican contingents. I mean, obviously everywhere of the Latin world, the Latinx world, and what have you. You've got Cubans, you've got Argentinians, you got everyone, right? But
Mm-hmm.
being so close to Mexico, I'm not. In the words of one of the Diaz's, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers. Like if you go into there was like at least four fights in the card with that Entrim Jiu-Jitsu, or not
Mm-hmm.
Jiu-Jitsu, but Entrim Gym represented or had fighters represent. Like, I'm not surprised. Like, that's what you do. Just like you go to fucking, Ireland, and you fucking have Paddy Pimblett. Like,
Yeah,
that's what you do.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, it'd be stupid to not do that, And again, with such a, it's just like fucking Iron Sheik, right?
Hmm.
He's a proud Iranian, but you sell that to fucking blue collar fucking Americans, that shit ain't gonna fly.
No, it ain't.
Even though he trained the fucking USA Olympic team, but he's
Yeah,
just like, oh, Iran number one.
yeah, yeah.
That's all you have to say, and you're like, oh
Yeah.
fuck, we're at odds with the Ayatollah Khomeini and all that
Yeah.
shit and whatever. So that's it. I mean, it's pro wrestling 101. So of course, and going even more recent than the Iron Sheik, you had Bret Hart and the Hart Foundation faces in Canada, but when they,
Hmm.
and Stone Cold Steve Austin was booed in Canada, but then when he came, you know, south of Canada and here into the States, it was the absolute opposite way around it. So, I mean, this is one of the many ways that I feel, pro wrestling and MMA, they go hand in hand, but
Yeah.
most people aren't aren't so privy to that, And yes, Harvey says LA, OC, and San Diego is pretty much North Mexico, and
It is what it
absolutely it was then before the Inquisition, and it is now. So
is.
it's not hard to see. So shout out to Mexico and Ecuador, and shout out to everyone. Shout out to
That's
everyone,
right. That's
right?
right. That's right.
And
And that's what these fighters are trying to do, by the way. Shout outs to everyone.
yes. Yes, and band backup says Ngannou wins over Dana again.
Oh
Yes, I'm
yeah.
so yeah. We're gonna get into that because
We're
there's a
gonna get to
whole
that.
there's a whole rant I got going. But and Alex Ramirez, who was also in house at the Honda Center last night, he says, "Yo, Moreno's camp got destroyed yesterday. I wonder if the UFC wanted to save money with travel due to COVID and hired local fighters. Davidson got me paid last night. Shit, Alex and fucking Harvey. Jesus Christ. Ah, yo, okay, right on. Yeah, I picked up some UFC Strike NFT this morning. Over 100,000 sold out in
Oh shit.
hours. Jesus
Whoa.
fucking Christ. God, I need to talk to you guys more. Shit, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing or not doing rather, and what you guys are doing. So please school me. Or as Craig David says, would you feel me in? Yeah. I'm just saying, fucking light skinned English, fucking good looking guys. Got to hate on fucking Craig David. Make some good fucking songs, but Jesus Christ, and then gets a nose job 20 years removed. But you know what? That's all right. Cool, Craig David. No, so as we kind of venture up into the card, we have none other than Cody Stamen, the Starman
Yeah.
Stamen. Used to be Spartan, or is he the Spartan now? And
Yeah,
formerly
yeah,
the
I guess he's
Starman.
Spartan.
He's Spartan now, and he was the Starman before, what have you. None
Yeah.
of that kind of matters because fucking Saeed or Said Nurmagomedov fucking guillotine and choke the shit out of Cody Stamen. This
Yeah.
one was a quick affair. Only 47 seconds, basically earning Saeed performance bonus, an extra $50,000, which
Hmm.
in that region where he hails from, that's a
Hmm.
pretty good chunk of change. They don't
Hmm.
live beyond their means there, so
Hmm.
that's a nice little return on investment. $50,000, 47 seconds. I'm just saying, he almost got $1,000 for every second that he fought, with an extra 3 grand for the walkout. But also,
Yeah.
that's not even including, his purse. So I'm just saying, not a bad night for Saeed Nurmagomedov.
Hey, he's gonna go snatch himself another horse straight up with that bonus. You know what I'm saying? Saeed
Wait,
came in here.
wait, did you say horse or whore? I
A
was like,
horse, a horse.
oh, I was like, I don't think that's how they get. Jesus, I'm sorry. You were saying, as you said that, I remember that guy. When the lady was like, people was filling out the fucking what is it? The lottery tickets and shit, one of the biggest Powerballs in history and whatever. And the lady was like, talking to that dude, he was like, "Oh, what are you gonna do if you win?" He was like, "Hookers and blow." And his wife kicked him out of the house. And he didn't win. So
I remember that dude. I remember that dude. Oh my god.
But
Oh.
it's horses.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I'm saying he's gonna go snatch himself another horse, man. You know what I mean? To go riding in the hills, straight up. When you're in Dagestan or any region of that nature, cars are not favorable. You know what I'm saying? It's mountainous. And to get around with efficiency, why not, use a horse? And it makes perfect sense. And it's better for nature that way because it's a natural event occurring. A car on a a car on the road, it's not very natural. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, but getting back to Saeed, you know what I'm saying, and not worrying about what he's gonna do with his money.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know what? This Voodoo, the financial planner. This guy already has, a foreign lame pronunciation class, which you can get for one easy payment of $9.99.99 or four easy payments of $4.99.99. Yes, you pay double if you don't get that shit right now, if not sooner. But there's that fucking picture of Putin riding a horse shirtless in it. And
There you go.
the only fucking shit that I had in my head was Saeed and fucking Putin, along with Habib and whatever, all those motherfuckers galloping through the mountainous ranges of fucking Dagestan and Russian, shirtless and shit like that, and rolling with the ponies, not the homies, the ponies. Jesus Christ, I don't know what the fuck. My
hey, but in all seriousness, Saeed Nurmagomedov's skills made a shocking impact immediately upon the beginning of the match. The speed was shocking. The turning back kick was the one. It hit the target. It missed the liver, but the execution shocked his opponent, causing him to snap into wrestling mode almost immediately. He went for the takedown. Saeed secured the deep guillotine and didn't relinquish it. It was nice and tight, and that was all she wrote. The man was submitted rather quickly. Everyone was shocked. Everyone in his corner was shocked. They didn't know what to say. Sometimes life throws you lemons as well. So what's Mr. Stamen going to do about this? Perhaps cut him up, squeeze him out, and make juice. You know what I'm saying? Gotta do something. Gotta learn from this. You know what I'm saying? Don't get shocked when you get hit with a turning back kick. Or perhaps learn to move your feet so you're not an easy target for someone who is fast like this. We live and we learn. It is what it is.
Yeah, speaking of learn, apparently Harvey says, teach Adam to say my freaking name right. Which, okay, let's take it phonetically. Harvey. But then the last name, I'm going to go with CAS, Cast, E, right? Caste, right? And double A-L-A, Yano. That's what I'm going with. But apparently I don't say things right. Which I don't say the things right. But Sade earns a new moniker of the horse collector.
Yeah. Straight up. Hey, here's another Arabian. You know what I'm saying? He's got that down payment for another Arabian. The Arabians sometimes be upwards of $1 million. But, those aren't necessary in the mountains, I guess.
I guess. I mean,
only in the desert.
I don't know. I there's so much. I was like, because you were like, squeezing the juice or whatever. I was like, is there horse juice? Is that a fucking thing? I don't know, like Arabian horse juice or some shit. I don't think that's juice. I think it might not be lemonade, is what I'm saying. But yeah, fucking, Saeed is basically earning himself an extra 50 G's for
Yep.
this one. So maybe he'll teach a horse to do some flippy shit. But speaking of flippy shit, Michel Piera and Andre Filial. That's what I'm going with. The Portuguese man of war. That's not his actual moniker. He doesn't have one, but I'm gonna christen him Aldo Montoya, the Portuguese man of war. That's it. That's Andre Filial. That was the first time I'd ever heard of Portugal. So that's what I'm going with. And I think that's just incredible. It's an inside joke if you get it
Yeah.
there. But Michel
Oh
Pieta,
yeah.
man, fucking flippy shit. Yeah, earning himself a unanimous decision.
Hmm.
There was, I mean, Andre. Can we talk about Andre? Right,
Yeah.
Andre. You know how when you go on any of the UFC video games, right,
Yes.
and
Yes.
you try to create a player, and they give
Right.
you
Right.
a blank template.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what Andre fucking looked like. I was like, holy shit. Like he's in the UFC video game you know, without actually doing shit and whatever. So I'm just saying.
Hey. That dude surprisingly turned out to be actually a very good fighter. As Michel Pierre quickly found out, the young man was an efficient striker, excellent striking. All 15 minutes, he made Michel fight a perfect fight. He had to be perfect to win. He had to be perfect to win, and Michel did that. He did some of his antics, you know, but there were if you I don't know how to explain it, but if you think about quality and quantity, he made the right decisions in regards to quality, right? He only did those moves when he knew he could get away with them, which I'm definitely okay with. This is part of his trademark. This is how people remember him, so he's going to do these things. But he did them very well. The ones off the fence, the Superman off the fence, were quite necessary and useful. Um, he has put a lot of time into his cardio. This was a problem in the beginning, which was another reason why me personally didn't like all the backflips and all that because later on it affected him, wasted energy. But now he's found his baseline in which he can do these antics and still perform at a high level in a 15-minute match. This kid is on his way, and he just needs to keep winning. I believe he's on a 5-fight win streak now. You know what I'm saying? With his antics, attempts to speak English, he's on his way. He's on his way. Just keep winning, Michelle Pereira, however you say your name, and the future is bright.
Absolutely. But going back to my analogy, I wanted to pull something up. All right. So,
Yeah.
okay. So we've got, dun, 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 we have UFC create a fighter, right? And
He does.
that's that's that. Okay. So that's that. Right. Let's full screen it for you guys. So just so you guys can see. Okay. That's what we're going with. Right. And then this is Andre Filau. Fialo. Fialo. That's what his name.
Yes,
Not
that
Figaro,
dude.
but Fialo. Okay. And I wish I had the capability of doing a side by side, but just put it in your memory and you'll be fine. You'll be fine. And this is Andre Fialo. Okay. It's a fucking creative player. It's a
It's the
fucking
same
creative player.
guy.
It's the same guy. Jesus Christ.
Hey,
UFC needs it.
they used Fialo and didn't pay him.
Yeah, exactly. He needs to get some fucking residuals off that shit. I'm just saying. He looked like I was like,
Hey,
I've
he's
played
got a
him
real
before.
case. He's
Yeah.
got a real case.
Yes, 100%. And Bruce Rob Trotter says, "Hey, dudes, do you want to put your your life on the line for 12K? Because that's just what Andre Fialo did last night. No, 100%, 100%. You know, and maybe in Portugal it fucking goes. 12K American goes a little bit further, but I mean, that was it. And fucking shitty fighter pay, bro. Ridiculous. Shit's
Yeah,
got to change.
yeah.
And I was actually talking to somebody about this, right? An amateur fighter, and
Hmm.
yes, shit has to change. But you know who's not going to change it? the fucking UFC because they're making money hand over fist. There's a
Yep.
reason, you know. You remember when Conor McGregor was like, "I want ownership of the UFC."
Mhm.
They didn't give that to him, and arguably that is the biggest cash cow that UFC has ever had. Right, bigger than Chuck, bigger than Brock, bigger than Ronda, bigger than Anderson, whatever.
Mhm.
That is, you know, Conor can win or lose 4 fights in a row, not
Mhm.
not win a fight in 5 years or one fight in 5 years and still be a top draw just
Mhm.
because he's reaching Hulk Hogan levels of popularity in the
Mhm.
pop culture lexicon, right?
Mhm.
You don't even have to know what MMA is. You don't have to know what the UFC is. There are people that work at uh, WME Endeavor that don't even know what the fucking UFC is.
Mhm.
100%.
Mhm.
That I found out pretty readily, right? So as long as they're making money, they're not going to change it.
Nope.
But it's guys like Francis Ngannou. Uh, and if you want to get into it, his stance on the UFC in terms of his fight pay or not the UFC not allowing him to get a proper training camp, almost setting him up for failure, even though he was their fucking Frankenstein, he was their player one, the
Mhm.
template of what a fighter that they wanted to be and then fed him to Stipe, didn't give a
Mhm.
fuck, and then now he's
Mhm.
here. So again, the UFC is not going to change it, just like the WWE, right? Fucking damn near over 100 fucking releases, and people that you know, people that you love, people that you bought tickets for. Again, they don't give a shit. They're doing record earnings, so it's not going to come from the organizations themselves. It has to come from the fighters. How that happens, that's up to the fighters, right? But much like John Jones and a lot of people that were advocating for better fighter pay, it was better fighter pay for them, not so much
Mhm.
better fighter pay for people on
Us.
the undercard,
Mhm.
and that's it, And again, NFTs, crypto.com, fucking rocks, Project Rock being the official shoe sponsor, Venom,
Mhm.
all that stuff. How much of that is actually going to the fighter?
Mm.
When you look in terms of in estimate, right? Brian Callen says when he first met Brendan Schaub, and Brendan Schaub was still in the UFC, right? There was like, 6-figure fucking checks of sponsorship just in fucking uncashed in fucking Brendan Schaub's car, right?
Mm.
That's not happening today's fighter. It's weird. There's more fights, and that's the other thing, right? Making yourself a star. If you think you're going to be a good star just by being a good fighter, look at Curtis
Not
Blades.
enough.
Not enough,
Not
and
enough.
especially the UFC, right? If your whole, aspiration, everything that you're working for is to get to the UFC, that's cool because UFC is going to play you for that, right? Because they know that that's where
Like
you
a
want to go,
fiddle.
like a fucking fiddle, right? And what they've done, right, is again, Conor McGregor wanted, even an incremental piece of the pie. I think it was like 5% or something, or whatever. They didn't give it to him, and then pandemic happens. July, I believe it was when UFC does the first show at ViStar Arena, right in
Mhm.
Florida.
Mhm.
And what ends up happening? They end up doing, I mean, pretty much have us trained as ardent MMA and UFC fans. They're literally doing a fight almost every weekend
Mhm.
since July, mid-July of 2020. So that's going on 2 years that where they've conditioned us. And guess what? Get a cool knockout, get a cool submission. That's going to be replaced by the very
Yep.
next week when it
That's
happens
right.
again and whatever. And everything that you were banking your career and the cachets that you think you have and bargaining power that you think you have, guess what? That next person, that next guy or girl is going to be the next one, right?
Mhm.
That's that's it. That's it,
Yeah.
And
That's how the cookie crumbles in business,
yeah,
in the fight
absolutely.
business.
Ooh, somebody assassinate Dana? Oof, ouch.
Oh shit.
Then get him out of there and shit will change. It's a I I ooh, that's really hard to debate.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't know about that. Dana, much like Vince McMahon, it's a double-edged sword because their respective genres of entertainment, and it is entertainment. You can talk about the sanctity of sport all you want, but fucking wrestling is getting taken out of the Olympics, right? Literally
Mm-hmm.
one of the fucking vestiges of ancient Greece, that the reason why we have a fucking Olympics in the first place, and that shit is getting eradicated from the Olympic Games, right? So
Mm-hmm.
same thing, right? It's entertainment. When you put a dollar amount, when some people are taking in some sort of monetary incentive, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. You go watch NFL, basketball, whatever. If they weren't filling up stands, they weren't signing TV ad right deals, that shit wouldn't exist at all,
Nope.
right?
Mm-mm.
So with that all being said, right, they're going to cash in. They're going to end up being paid, right? And it's no different than record companies, owning perpetuity of an artist's catalog or giving an advance of whatever. And but then everything that they do, from studio time to taking a shit, is essentially a line item that they're going to get charged back. You know, um, it's a fucking monopoly. That's it. And will it change again when the fighters kind of group together? I'm not saying union or whatever, but there needs to be something where there's a cohesion amongst the top tier fighters and the bottom tier fighters that we want more. But then I also feel like, within 5 years, the UFC will be robots. The fucking battle bots that we see on TV and shit like that. I think that's it,
Mm-hmm.
because you want fighter pay, and I saw it with like the Uber and Lyft deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uber and Lyft,
Mm-hmm.
all the fucking workers, like, we were making six figures and shit like that, and now you're undercutting us, and we want fucking Medicare, medical care and paid time off and everything like that. And Uber, at least here in California, was like, ah, fuck it, we just won't do business here in California. And then the fucking pandemic happened, and so it's nothing new. If you follow business and study it and whatever, that's where it is. So as long as we keep paying the fucking UFC Fight Pass and going to live shows and shit like that,
All good.
yeah, that's that's it. They're not going to see a change. Yeah, there's no reason to change.
Hey,
So
I once saw this movie. It's a kids movie. It was called Dinosaur, and it was this dinosaur that had to. It was some apocalyptic event that occurred. I believe a meteor, the Big Bang or whatever. There was a meteor attack, and it destroyed his flock, and he had to migrate to find green land or whatever. But anyways, there was a bunch of there was a these T-Rex characters in this movie, and they will attack. What it's normal for T-Rexes to attack other animals that are by themselves. But when they stood together, they were able to scare off this T-Rex. And the same analogy could be applied to this particular situation, just like you said. If they all work together, they will be heard. And this is the only way anything is going to change. I mean, right now, the UFC, I don't even blame them, bro. They wrote the book on this game, and they expect you to go read the rules yourself. They're not gonna help you help yourself. I mean, how does that help them if they helped you help yourself? You know what I mean? The fighters have to organize and make this happen themselves. Instead of one person going to make their contract better, we all make our contract better together by standing together. This is the only way. This is the only way. Even in our real life, people say, we need this law, we need that law. If we organize and stand together, we will get that law. It is what it is.
yeah, 100%, 100%. And Harvey, Harvey saying, "Damn, that was over the top, bro. Assassination."
Yeah. Yeah.
And bodyslam.net, which this very show is being simulcast on all of the social media platforms that bodyslam.net currently has. That's Twitter, Facebook, YouTube as well, along with the According to Woods Facebook and Twitter pages, and the Voodoo in the Woods YouTube and Facebook pages. So again, go ahead and subscribe to them all. The
Oh,
franchise
damn.
player Bad Bro hereby acknowledges that Adam Woods is the Maharaja of MMA, the true tribal chief of pro wrestling.
Yeah.
I've never taken a bump, but also those titles look to be pretty good fucking t-shirts. So and I'm a t-shirt collector. I lost count over 200, so I'm just saying. Bruce Bartado says at least knock out Dana White out cold. Francis can do it. It will knock some sense into Dana. I don't know. I mean, Bret Hart, slapped the shit out of Vince McMahon after Montreal screw job and whatever, and yeah, it didn't work. They're still making money hand over fist.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just say Dana needs to be KO'd solid. It would be good for him. He needs a little good. It needs a rest anyway. Hey, you know what? Fighters' rights, says Bandit Backup. It's funny because it's not funny. It's kind of ironic because Dana White actually had Meniere's disease caused by the fact that as it was a bouncer, I believe, in Boston, or he could have just been clubbing, in his pre-UFC president days and what have you. He was out in Boston or whatever, and somebody sucker punched him, like literally fucking donkey punched him in the back of the head. He fell to the ground. It dislodged a piece of bone in his ear. And he had essentially, Meniere's is like when you get fucking vertigo and all that shit and whatever.
Right.
So it has happened. And we still get this same Dana White. So pro or con, that's it. So maybe if that shit didn't happen, we would get less of the Dana that you dislike, or maybe more of the Dana you like. I don't know. I don't know. I don't fucking know.
Hey, but when you think about it, Dana White works for the machine.
Yes.
It's really not his decision. He's just the one to talk to the world that, okay, this is the decision that the machine has made. And it looks like his decision. It isn't his decision. He works for someone. There's a WHN, whatever.
WME Endeavor. Yeah.
Yeah,
Endeavor.
These are the people that he answers to. He's really not the bad guy here. He's just the one telling the story. Bearer of bad news, as they say. He is the bearer of bad news. He is the face of the bad news. But really, he is not the target. The target is WMAC, whatever they're called.
That's WMAC Masters? Are you telling me Shannon Lee's the commissioner? It's not Dana White? Ha! It was me, Dana. It was me.
Hey, man, it was probably Yang Yang Man or something. Hakeem, Panther. It's those guys.
Was it Michael?
The Machine.
Was it Michael Casavetes or
Mike Chatter-Rat?
Yeah,
remember
something
Mike
like that.
Mike Chatter-Rat or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Fucking,
Herb Perez.
Yeah, shout out to WMAC Masters. If you know, you know. Yeah, damn right. And
they
back,
said Dana.
Yes. He said Dana. Oh, fuck. The fun for the. You know what? If you look at the WMAC fucking title and the UFC fucking title that they got now, goddamn. You know
we
what?
just unraveled the conspiracy, bro.
Dana White is fucking Shannon Lee. That's it. Oh, fuck. Get your tinfoil hats on, folks. We got you. We got your shit. Oh, God. And you said, he acknowledged the franchise player, acknowledges that Adam Woods is the Maharaja. Again, I appreciate that, but I also acknowledge that I got a fucking cool-ass slam buddy from the good brother Petrov, Gregor Petrov, right there. So shout out to
Is that
Petrov.
Repo Man? Is that
No,
the Repo Man?
it's Petrov, a Pacific Northwest independent wrestler. Support indie wrestling.
Okay.
So yeah, that's so dope. Nina posted on the social media, but thank you for that, Petrov. Yes, that is the only time I'm a winner, when I fucking do Instagram contests and shit and get slam buddies. That's enough incentive for me to get off my fucking ass. So I'm just saying. But speaking of getting off our fucking asses, we are at the co-main events of the evening, and this is for the undisputed UFC Flyweight World Championship. We have former champion, the God of War. That's what it is in Brazilian, Portuguese, English pronunciation. Davidson Figueiredo up against the assassin baby, Brandon Moreno. And this one went all 25 minutes, a lot of action. This is why this is one of the, this is the fight of the night, right?
Mhm.
And Harvey saying, I bet on Moreno and I thought he won. Um, yeah, but he didn't win. He didn't win. This one goes to a decision. This is pretty evenly contested. But if you're going on damage, right? Looking at the face and specifically the nose of Davidson Figueiredo,
Mhm.
I mean, and that you know what? It's not a very good barometer, right? Because you could just have you know a shitty fucking nasal passage, one touch and the shit turns into fucking ceramic tile and whatever, and you crack it and
Mhm.
whatever the fuck, right? That's
Mhm.
not a good barometer, but again, the number of punches landed, I don't know. Like I agree with Harvey, and I kind of disagree with the decision. But I also have a little bit of sour grapes, man. Like fucking Figgy is a heel, man. Figueredo
Mhm.
is a heel. That
Mhm.
motherfucker don't give a shit about no one,
Mhm.
but himself. And that's essentially what a heel is. And again,
Mhm.
like I go back to the fact that I showed my 14-year-old the fucking Moreno UFC belts made out of Legos, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
leave it to fucking Figgy. He was like, "Oh, this is my first time shooting in America, blah blah blah, whatever, whatever." And he goes with Eric Alsaban to the shooting range in Arizona and whatever, and he puts a fucking bootleg version of Moreno's, title. It was a very cut rate. It was a poor man's Lego version of it, and he fucking shoots the shit out of it. I'm like, first off, what is a kid gonna think, right? Like you fucking shooting Legos. At the same time, at the same time, like I think it was in the same embedded or the embedded before it, where he's like wishing his daughter a happy birthday. Which, funny enough, this is something where Figueredo and Moreno are closely intertwined. Celestially, that their kids actually have birthdays in similar time within a week of each other, right? And both of them were away for this title fight, during the birthdays. So I'm just saying, and Moreno was able to celebrate earlier for his daughter, and Figgy for his son wasn't he was here in the United States while his son was in the native Brazil. But I'm just saying, it was just fucking disrespectful. And that's what you're getting out of Figgy. Like I go back and forth of my respect for Figgy, right?
Mhm.
Because he has this style of grappling that is directly derived from the ancient people who roamed the Amazon before,
Mhm.
all of the fucking deforesting and everything like
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
This, the fact that he got and he argued that he deserved a $50,000 bonus over his win. I think it was against Moreno, right?
Mhm.
And he stayed and whatever. He went to Fight Island, fought Benavides twice. I mean, not twice on Fight Island. First time he missed weight, right? And it was a one-way title switch, which he lost, right? Because he came in overweight. And then the second time, fucking Megan O'Leary, Joseph Benavides' wife, one of the greatest fucking analysts and interviewers and podcasters there is, one of my heroes and whatever, but had her fucking crying as he beat the shit and fucking choked the fuck out of um fucking
Her husband.
Benavides. Yeah, Jesus Christ. I mean, he went cross-eyed and all that shit. It was
Yeah.
not fucking great. So I'm glad that he got the fucking bag of money from Dana White and everything like that and whatever. That is one step towards fighter rights and everything like that. Um, but also, I'm just like, God damn, this motherfucker. He just when you start to kind of like maybe respect him and whatever, he fucking links up with the fucking cringe crew in of Al Saban and fucking Cejudo and whatever. Like, did you see the victory? Obviously, Figueredo won, whatever.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
all of those motherfuckers, there was like 8 motherfuckers in the fucking octagon. None of them could see above the fucking cage. It
Mhm.
was like the fucking lollipop guild. That shit was
Mhm.
munchkin as fuck. All of them could beat my ass. So I'm just saying that,
Mhm.
Yeah, and yeah, seriously, what the fuck? The leg thing about stupid stunt. No, I would actually,
Hey,
uh, I
hey,
would, I would
the
actually remove the S and the T and replace it with a C in stunt. And that's what I kind of feel for Figgy.
Hey man, this particular matchup, the gentlemen, they already know each other. They've been in there 3 times. Well, this was the third time. After one, you already know the individual, but then you go again, and then you go for a third time, so they know each other very well. This wasn't the reason Figgy won. Figgy understood that for him to win this particular matchup, he had to do something different. He had to make an ultimate sacrifice. And the ultimate sacrifice is 4 months of his life away from his family. He had to become a nomad. He had to become a Ronin. So he hiked himself to Arizona. When he got to Arizona, he went to see the master in Henry Cejudo. Is he the master of striking? No. Is he the master of wrestling? Some will say he's very good. He might be one of the very best, as he's already won an Olympic medal. Is it because of that reason? No. He gained a lot of wrestling, but no, that wasn't why. He went for this. He went for this. That thing that he calls cringe is really a real thing. And it is an ability that he possessed and he knows how to teach this Henry Cejudo. It's a mental weapon that is used against an opponent. And what happens is the opponent becomes they become they lose themselves. They lose themselves, as we saw in the press conference. Not Henry, the Moreno, not Morales, excuse me. Moreno, I didn't see the Moreno that won the title. I didn't see him at all. This Moreno seemed flustered. Uh, he was too happy. It was almost fake happy. I didn't buy into it. Because I immediately cut a video to 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 to, to express this point, right? This match was only won by a mental attack because, as you saw in the match, Figueiredo was not the best striker. The kid was. He was. Moreno was the better striker. He's an excellent striker, a beautiful striker. I saw a flaw because he fought like a boxer. He didn't even really fight like a boxer. He just stood there, expecting to brawl. I mean, the man brawled with you in the second fight, and he got clipped, dropped, dropped to the point where you sunk in a rear naked choke and finished him. He understands his mistake, which is why he went to Henry Cejudo. Henry Cejudo was the mind doctor, the mind coach, whom he needed to face the demon of his loss. He went to Henry Cejudo. Henry Cejudo forced him to watch the loss, and they broke it down. They broke it down. Once they broke it down, he realized the error in his ways. And what did he do? He stuck to the game plan. What is the game plan? Stick and move, stick and move. Biggie once told us, treat it like boxing, stick and move, stick and move. And this is what he did. He chopped at the leg and he ran his ass off. You know what I'm saying? He knew that wasting his time would be striking against Moreno. He knew that. So he went for the wrestling. He went for this and he went for that. He did this and he did that. But he kept consistent at his attack. He chopped the leg, he attacked the middle, and he attacked the top. In doing this, there were multiple openings in which he was able to drop his opponent in Moreno. This was major. This, especially in this weight class, You do not really see people dropping themselves like this. You see fights at a high pace, go for 15 minutes, go for 25 minutes. You see this more often in this weight division rather than seeing someone get knocked down. And Moreno was knocked down several times in this contest. Um, to link this all together, Figueredo won this match at the press conference. He won it at the press conference when he called him a crybaby, and he spoke English to do so. Brandon Moreno, you crybaby. You know what I'm saying? And then he laid down his case. It was very simple. I'm going to knock you out. He knew he wasn't going to try and knock this dude out, but he planted that seed and he hammered it in. Once he hammered it in, the rest was easy. So now he's speaking in Portuguese. Da-da-da-da-da-da. I don't know what he said. You know what I mean? I'm going to do this to you. I'm going to do this to you. But every now and then, he'll pop back in and speak English. I'm going to knock you out, Brandon Moreno. Motherfucker. Motherfucker. I knock you out, motherfucker. Everyone in every continent understand motherfucker. You ain't got to speak English to understand motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? He spoke to the world. They hated him for it. Hated him for it, but this is not his concern. He has your mind. He had everyone's mind. Most importantly, he had Moreno's mind. And Moreno, when he got to the fight, there was no flow in him. He had the skill, but he lacked flow. And without flow, he cannot win the match. I totally agree with what happened here. It wasn't a physical contest, it was a mental contest. And the coaching staff for Figueredo won. It was coaching versus coaching. See, the Tijuana team got their fighter ready physically. He was chopped many times in the leg, over 15 kicks to the leg, and he didn't show any effect. That means he was well in shape and ready to go. You know what I'm saying? It was a mental thing, and they lost. And this is why Figueredo is now champion.
Yeah, no, 100%. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I don't know. I'm super salty that Figgy won. Emotional. That's me. That's me. But it also could be Figgy and Moreno. Mental martial arts. And oh wow, no, says Tilbrook. Again, this was a very pro. You know, Brandon Moreno fight crowd. This was it seemed like in the opening rounds that Moreno was. I mean, he was trying to channel the boxing prowess of every Mexican boxer that has ever happened. You know, I saw a little bit of I guess, an homage to the great Julio Cesar Chavez, which that is the other Funko Pop I have. Shout out to Funko for paying respect to Julio Cesar Chavez, one of the all time greats. But with that all being said, it just if it would have worked, we would all be praising it, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But Figi was just that much better. Um, I don't know, but it went to decision, so there's always going to be a disputation. I don't know if we should. I don't think there would be anything gained by having them fight four times and what have you. You know, they've already done three. The rubber match has already happened and whatever, so there's a definitive edge and what have you. But I would have liked to see a longer title run, and I would have actually not preferred to see him and Figi again. This time around, I would have.
It will happen.
No, no, no.
It will happen.
No, but like a defense of, maybe a Brandon Royval or what have
Mm-hmm.
you, and you could say, oh well, Figgy is higher in what is it, higher in ranking and whatever. Now, how many
Mm-hmm.
times have they played outside of fucking ranking? To honey dick a fucking title fight or whatever. They did it with the fucking heavyweight interim title, right? Oh, well, we're gonna get the guy that wasn't even on the roster pre-pandemic, and the fucking my balls is hot guy, and that's gonna work in Houston and whatever. Oh, well, I mean, and that's after Francis didn't want to fight in fucking Houston. Again, we're gonna get to the fucking main event, but yeah, it's just I don't know, man. I feel I don't know. It's hard for me to fucking cheer Figgy. and that's just me. And
Yeah, well, you also have to understand, Figueredo, he's mastered the game. He's just missing some pieces, but he understands the attributes necessary for success here as a fighter in the UFC. The man is from the Amazon. He's from the Amazon. He's a humble man. He is not uh, the opposite. He understands. Okay, I'm not that eloquent with my speech. I'm not that good looking. That
that's
sexy.
for facts.
Just follow me. Follow me. Perhaps the majority of the people will not like me if I go the good guy route. You know what I'm saying? He's not that eloquent on the mic, right? He doesn't know English really. He tries his best, but for whatever it's worth, it's not enough, and he realized this. So he said, "I'm just gonna take the easier route." You know what I'm saying? I'm the God of War because I knock suckers out on the regular. You know what I'm saying? We got highlights to prove it. So the moniker God of War, okay, we can go with that. Kratos is pretty badass. You know what I'm saying? And Figueredo, badass too. He's proved it many times. So the image is there. Now, why not become a bad guy? This is the easiest way. Look, I can't, it's harder to get you to like me, but it's very, very easy to make you hate me. I just got to do something that's considered not the normal, right? And he did what he had to do. Now, everyone hates him. Floyd Mayweather used the same strategy. You know what I'm saying? Look how much the Mexicans hate Floyd Mayweather because of his antics. He understands they're not going to come watch him win, but they'll pay to watch him lose. So these are always sold out. This is a strategy. You are a fighter. This is a strategy. I mean, look, I understand you have to become a Sith to make this money, but understand your family needs to eat. Figueredo's from the Amazon. His family gotta eat. So if he's gotta come on camera and play this bad guy for you guys to hate so you can pay for that pay-per-view, he's gonna do that. I say the man is doing his job. He's doing his job and he's doing it well. What the hell is that? He's doing his job and he's doing it well. It is what it is. You know, Figueredo, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you because when it came time, you were able to shed the character and you give it up to your family, of course, whom you are there fighting for. You know what I mean? Give it up to the supporting cast, the Arizona folks that help you get to this place that you're at. You gave it up to the people whom you came from. You know what I'm saying? You thanked your opponent for granting you this wonderful opportunity and, you know, pretty much allowing you to play with his mind and take his belt, take your belt back. It was yours, which he took from you, and you did whatever you had to within regulation. Within regulation, he didn't cheat. He didn't break any rules. You know what I mean? He just did something that's considered uh, against the norm. You know, in creating his character and running with it. It's working for him. Um, I'd like to see more of this character, actually, Woods. I'd like to see more. I want more.
All right. Well, I want to take a shed on fucking Davidson Federator and his, I don't know, hair that looks like a menstruation gone wild. But there we go. Fucking yeah. I don't want to see any more of Figgy. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I want fucking. I don't know. I don't know. Boo Figgy. Boo Figgy. And motherfucker. Love the analysis. Uh yeah. I mean, you're right. I'm not saying you're wrong. It's just like I'm no. I like fucking Moreno, dude. As I like fucking Benavidez before him, and like whatever the fuck. So I'm good. I'm good on this motherfucker. You're fucking putting bullets through fucking fake UFC fucking Lego. Get the fuck out of here, dude. And I like belts. I fucking collect them, man. Like, Camel State title, fucking Lou Thez fucking title. Like This is what you fucking bust your ass for, right? I love it.
Hey,
I like the value
shooting
creation.
shooting at Lego just brought in the 12 to 15 age group, man. They're like, man, we want to see him get his ass kicked. Hey, man, more viewers.
I don't know. 12-year-olds seeing people shoot shit.
Hey, but we see that on TV all the time when we watch the news. Real life shooting on the news, not no shooting at a Lego thing. The news is way worse, and that's okay. What's up with this double standards in this United States of America?
Because
What's going on here?
This is Figgy. Fucking Figgy. There's every reason that I should like fucking Figgy. Ancient fucking grappling martial art, you know, and what have you, and fucking Acai and whatever the fuck, and the God of War, the video game was actually molded after the body type of the, you know, not, I mean, fucking Shad Gaspard, you know, the guy who, you know, died saving his son from, you know, drowning, on Venice Beach and shit like that. That's it. Every reason why I should like Figgy, I don't like Figgy.
Hey,
I tried.
Time out.
I tried.
Time out. Couldn't Brandon Moreno have done more?
Of course, I'm not saying
Just
that.
the center of the octagon, but then he didn't press. He could have chased down his opponent and smashed him. He didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? Really, this loss falls on him.
I'm not saying it isn't. I just don't like Figgy. I don't like Figgy. I'm good. I tried. You can go back into the archives, the Voodoo in the Woods archive. I was like, you know, when he fucking got that fucking sack full of money, I was like, cool, man. Fucking get that shit. I don't like it. I don't like him anymore. Fuck him. Fuck Figgy. I'm not, you know, offering him to get on the podcast. I'm not, whatever. That whole team is fucking creepy. They creep me out. Fucking creep me out. It's what my fucking nightmares are made out of. Like that whole fucking lollipop guild fucking, you know, dwarf munchkins that can fucking beat the shit out of me. That's what my fucking dreams are made out of. And all of them have gold. Becoming feather gold. Like that little
hey, you saw his gold too? He was wearing a gold too at the press conference. Hey, did you see his suit? His Gucci suit?
No.
Gucci suit.
No.
Gucci suit. What's that song by Rick Ross? In my Gucci suit.
Oh, the fake Rick Ross? No, I'm not gonna fucking no. I'm good. I like my hip hop when it was like fucking KRS-One and Biz Markie and the Fat Boys and the fucking, you know, when they didn't say the N-word.
Wearing Gucci suit.
Okay. Let Freeway Rick Ross, the real motherfucker. Let's see. You know, I'm just saying. Yeah, again, Figgy is everything I hate about the world. So I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Yeah.
Hey,
and
remember
they were shitting across in the dojo a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and the Gucci suit was nice. No, I'm good. This is
right.
These are things,
it was nice.
These are things that I, you know, as somebody that grew up in Inglewood and as a person of color, and dude of color, I try not to do. Not gold tooth, not fucking whatever the fuck. And this motherfucker.
Hey, but that's the God of
this
War.
motherfucker.
He said, Brandon Moreno, motherfucker. Motherfucker.
I'm good. I like cursing. Don't like when fucking Figgy does it. I don't like anything he does. Fucking don't. I really don't.
He's really trying though. You got to give him an A.
I'm not saying he's not trying, but he's trying to piss me the fuck off. And before I'd be like, I want to fucking, you know, see him get his ass whipped, right? WWE logic, right? Pay more to see that motherfucker get his ass whipped, right? You know, you elect a fucking emotion out of the populace, right? Either they want to fucking cut and pay to see you win or pay to see you fucking lose. But if they don't want to see you pay to do anything, they want to pay to see you do anything. You fucked up and you should be on the wrong business. Fucking Figgy is that for me. Anytime he's fucking fighting, I will turn that shit off. I'm out. Fuck him. Gucci of War. I'm all right. Take that fucking gold tooth and fucking use fucking what's his name, Cejudo, right? Take Cejudo and fucking take his ass and polish that shit and shove it up Alciban's ass. That's what I got. Like fucking all of them. I mean, do what they actually are doing. It's a fucking human centipede. That's what they're doing. Why don't they just fucking do it? Just do it and be done with it. Fuck fighting in the UFC. Fuck coaching people. Nah, fuck it. You all circle jerk and fucking human centipede each other. Just fucking do it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see anything you guys do. And yeah, and I checked online. The Gucci suit was real. You know, and no, never, not never, never.
Hey, he should from now on he should come out to that wearing Gucci suit. He should come out to that song from now on. Really make people hate him. That right there would be the icing.
That motherfucker should just come out to nothing and the fucking bozo fucking theme song. Super Sunday Showdown or whatever the fuck, where people throw ping pongs at his stupid ass. He's stupid. He's fucking stupid. But I'm good. Fucking good. Like Figgy, Roman Reigns, same deal. But Roman Reigns, is a character. Roman Reigns is a character. Joanna Wahi is a guy who fucking beat leukemia, has a kid, has a wife, whatever, son of Alpha, the Wild Samoans. Right on. Yeah. That's a character. The character I don't like. Right? The person, I don't know him, so I can't but the fucking character. Right. Guy that get punched in the shirt, thrust in the chest with a fucking, a fucking bulletproof vest, right? The guy that is the tribal chief of the islands and has fucking SWAT shoes and fucking whatever. I've been to the fucking islands. We go wear flip flops. Goddamn, like Jesus Christ, what the fuck are we doing? Jesus Christ. I don't know. Fuck. I need a woosah. Fuck. Fuck them. That's what I got. Fuck them. With each other. So Alciban, fucking Cejudo and whatever. I want to get that fucking playback. Like live rent free in my mind. Fucking Cejudo getting tossed up like a fucking pizza dough and fucking Mighty Mouse catching his ass and arm triangle and goddamn. Like it's fuck him. Just fuck him. That's what I got. But now that I'm all hot and bothered, we are at the main event of the evening. This is something that I actually give a shit about. The quintessential yes man, the bullshit ass interim heavyweight champion, Cyril Mongamin Gan. And I saw a great fucking meme going into this shit. I don't know if I think it's the Strangle Squad on the Instagram, right? They shared this beautiful ass meme, and I'm going to share it as we're introducing one Francis Ngannou, the Predator, right? Well, they were on memes on this one. The memes are on point for this one. And if you follow me on social media, I love the memes and people getting dumb on their fucking heads, right? But let me pull up the first one for you, right? Again, you can thank me later and shout out for this to the Strangle Squad. But we have. This was sent to me by Jesse Velasquez, friend of the show. But it says everybody's got a fucking cinnamon toast crunch fucking what is it? Cinnamon toast crunch shake or whatever the fuck, right? So it says, God, I can't fucking let me see. Full screen layout. So for those who can't see, what it actually says is when you go to make breakfast, but all of the, and it's a picture of Cyril gone. I love that shit. Shout out to the Strangle Squad on Instagram where you can find that shit all day, every day. And then another one that we found, it basically speaks to the wrestling prowess of one Francis Ngannou, right? And this is OG Shawnee Mac. And it's like, it literally says, Francis Ngannou has evolved to the complete fighter. We've just witnessed Francis Ngannou Megomedov with the fucking Dagestani war hat. That's what we got there. I love it. Uh, yeah, so there it is. Shout out to Shanti Mac on Instagram. But yeah, dude, fucking, Francis Ngannou. I think this is a next step of his evolution as a fighter.
Mhm. Mhm.
We know him of his, athletic prowess, his knockout power, the aura befitting of one Mike Tyson, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Comparisons to Mike Tyson, right? The legendary Mike Tyson. So, with that all being said, we got wrestle fuck Francis Ngannou, man,
Mhm.
and shout out to the Grizzly Cal Jack, former NXT superstar, who's killing it on the independent scene. But he was brought in uh, to basically aid Francis Ngannou to prepare for Cyril Gane. And
Mhm.
for those who don't know the Grizzly Cal Jack, um, and under his given name, of Clayton Jack. He was one of the best wrestlers, heavyweight wrestlers, that the USA has ever produced. And that's kind of falling into the traits and the legacy of his father, who also has, an NCAA great in wrestling, who has wins, legit wins over Dan the Beast Severn, Dr. Death Steve Williams, Randy Couture, amongst others, right? So the Chris Cal Jack was brought in by the guys at in what is it? I forgot the gym in Vegas. Jesus Christ. But he was brought in to fucking help Francis with the wrestling, and he's a guy of 6'8" frame. Is Clayton Jack or Cal Jack, the Grizzly.
Mhm.
If you checked out any of Chael Sonnen's stuff, he shouted him out. He was like, "We're gonna see a different Francis Ngannou because Cal Jack is in the fucking fight camp," and that's exactly what we saw, right? And Chael Sonnen, another great wrestler, right? That's Chael Sonnen's wrestling prowess equals that of his shit talking prowess. He is a great. You can disagree with him and whatever, but again, I disagree with fucking Figgy. Figgy is on the path of greatness, right? As
Mhm.
is Chael Sonnen in his assessment, right? Because we
Mhm.
saw a Francis Ngannou that I didn't think was Jesus Christ. I didn't think I was gonna see that, dude. The fucking double leg and the fucking ankle picks and the fucking I don't even know what the fucking shit is, but it's something that fucking Scott Steiner would be proud of. The fucking first
Mhm.
takedown and slam. Jesus Christ, you remember me on the fly. That's I again, I love this shit. So, I don't let anything fly. But no, I appreciate that. But no, Francis Ngannou, goddamn, like he is the heavyweight champion of the world. There's no
Mhm.
disputation. There's no disputation. Now I heard people a bit of chatter on the on MMA Twitter last night. Oh, fucking Overeem would fuck both Cyril Gane and Francis Ngannou up.
Yeah, right.
I mean, yes, but when he had the chance, he didn't, right? And I'm as big as a Ubereem fan as
Mhm.
ever. Like fuck that him and Rico Verhoeven. I was amped for that shit, man.
Mhm.
But this is what we have. But he is the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, and I would love this. Francis Ngannou versus Tyson Fury. I think this is what he was angling for. Now obviously in terms of contractual disputes, he's got an automatic fucking champions clause that he's up for 3 fights or 1 year extended contract or whichever is the longest, right? So he's in for at least another 365 days in terms of the
Mhm.
calendar year. But
Mhm.
he can do something, especially as he has as his manager somebody that worked for the UFC when Conor McGregor was angling for the fight with Floyd Mayweather and helping, uh, and seeing all the hubbub around it and all of the gesturing and the posturing that the UFC did to try and prevent it. And then they ultimately ended up coming on board as a co promoter and what have you and made shit tons of money from it. Right. So I would love nothing more to see, Nagano and Fury, and especially Ngannou, yes, he's the heavyweight champion of the world, but this is a guy who less than 10 years ago didn't even know what the fuck fighting was. You know, I think much like most people like the current incarnation of Brock Lesnar of the WWE, he comes in, kicks ass, and gets 6 figures for his efforts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Francis Ngannou is he's a killer. He's a literal fucking killer. He fucking knocks people into an orbit, right? Why not? Why the fuck not?
Yeah, man. Yeah, Francis Ngannou, man. Against all odds, he still rises. Against all odds. Growing up as a child, there was nothing. There was nothing. Couldn't afford this, couldn't afford that. Kicked out of school, forced to go work in the mines, in the sand mines. Against all odds, he rises. He rises. I can't go to school, I'll find a way to survive. He rises. He rises. Working in the sand mine, like friggin' Conan the Barbarian. Mythical. Doing things legendary. You know what I'm saying? In the sand mines, dreaming of a savior. He dreamt of a savior, a savior who never came. He grows to be a man. He sees an image of Mike Tyson. And he says to himself, I want to do that. I want to be just like that guy. That's what I want for myself. And people said to him, like in the Will Smith movie, people can't do something themselves. They want to tell you can't do it. Francis Ngannou, he thought to himself, why can't I? Why can't I? I believe I can do it. Excuse me. So he started. Crossed over Africa, north, crossed into the desert, crossed the ocean, defeated homelessness, got in with the French folks who owe him. France owes him. You owe him, France. He doesn't owe you anything. Francis Ngannou does not owe you, France, anything. Because without Africa, you wouldn't exist anyway. What is it that he owes you, France? He doesn't owe you nothing. He goes over, he utilizes the instrument that will get him to where he needs to get to. He realizes, okay, I think there's better for me across the ocean, to the Pacific, to America. I think there's something for me there. So he went there. You cannot fault a man for wanting better for himself. How dare you? How dare you fault a man for wanting better for himself? So for this, you call him a traitor? You say he is this, he is that? Even your media at the press conference come and they want to point a finger and ask these questions of him. The man is from Cameroon. He doesn't owe you anything, France. You owe him. You owe his people. But yet he rises against all odds. He goes in this cage representing Africa against the machine, France. France's best is Cyril Gone, the best striking you've ever seen in the heavyweight division, the best footwork you've ever seen in the heavyweight division, some of the best grappling you've ever seen in the heavyweight division. Coming from a small pocket, a small sample of greatness. in Serial Gone. Titan versus Titan in the middle of the cage. Against all odds. Torn ACL, torn MCL, torn this and torn that. Man with nothing. Once again, doubles down on himself. Yet again, he rises. Ngannou. Fighting countries. Fighting corporations. But yet he rises. This is more than a fight. This is more than a fight. This is a battle of what is right. He should not have to live like that. There's more than enough in this world, on this planet. There's more than enough to go around. Why does he have to cross the oceans for an opportunity, a fair opportunity? But yet he rises.
No, 100%. Oh no, good.
Go ahead. I want to calm myself down a bit.
No,
Please,
no.
jump
I've
in.
I fucking shit on Figgy, so you know I'm not gonna get mad at you for fucking singing the praises of Francis. Shaman Steve said he sleeps at the gym. Love his work ethic. Legendary, says backup account, and also the people's champion. No, he's that. And what I loved about this fight, again, we went into pretty in depth, pretty deep on Friday night before the fight, like literally like 24 hours before the fight, and talked about maybe this is the most important heavyweight title fight in MMA history, right? Where you have, somebody that is trying to enact social change. This is, every bit of, if those who follow politics here in the United States, fucking Bernie Sanders was getting people all riled up and hot and bothered and everything like that. And it took his own fucking party, right? His own fucking party to fucking give other money to the other candidate, and the fucking lady who did it, she's like, I don't want to be fucking party president anymore, and jumps on the other side and whatever. We saw somebody get screwed, right? So, and again, I don't have a dog in the hunt, whatever the fuck. But that's exactly what we saw with Francis Ngannou, right? This is somebody that was created by the UFC, right? Created by the fucking UFC, right? And what did they do to their own creation? They fed him to Stipe, who, again, since he lost the title to Francis Ngannou, have we heard one blip in the UFC or otherwise about Stipe Miocic? They fucking discard you. This is somebody who is, in their mind, revisionist history, right? The greatest heavyweight, champion of all time, right? But Josh Barnett was so quick to say, hey, how many fucking one-night tournaments did he fucking fight, right? How many, it's what you base as your metric of what the greatest is and what have you. But, Francis beat somebody who was essentially his Achilles heel, right? In Stipe Miocic, right? And the way that Francis won this time, right? He could have fucking knocked him out. Could have, right? But he showed dexterity to his game that he's never shown before. A wrestling prowess. There was almost like a fucking, it was not the greatest fucking leg lock, not the greatest heel hook, but Cyril Gane fucking tried to do it, right? And Francis Ngannou fucking spun the shit out of it in almost the fluidity of a Dory Funk Jr. spinning toe hold. Dory Funk Jr. would fucking be proud of Francis Ngannou. Every fucking NCAA wrestler, every fucking, collegiate wrestler, everybody that, Jordan Burroughs, fucking Mikhail Sanderson, Danny Hodge, you go down the line, we talked about fucking Randy Couture, fucking Dan to Be Severed, Dr. Death, Steve Williams, all great fucking NCAA wrestlers. They would be proud of Francis Ngannou and what he did. Everything that you would have said going into it, the fucking variables that you had in your mind, the back of your mind, even if you wanted to cheer for Francis, you're like, oh, with all that muscle, it's going to take a lot of oxygen. His gas tank is going to be whatever. He went the fucking 5 rounds. He went 25 minutes pushing the fucking pace. Right? What more does he have to fucking show you that he is one of the greatest of all time? And again, he went up against the machine. He bet on himself. He bet on himself, right? and went up against the big bad UFC. And yes, he finds himself in a 3-fight contract or another year-long contract that could negate a potential run in Bellator, or if he wanted to go and fight Tyson Fury, right? It might have negated it. But the fact of the matter is, like, I think he won. He won civilly. He won in the court of the public opinion. He won, right? And this is a Francis that, again, I didn't. I don't know if because I saw it. I saw Chael Sonnen's fucking you know YouTube, right? And how he was like, yeah, he brought in fucking Cal Jack, right? The Grizzly, right? Friends with Cal Jack, who on Josh in an incarnation of Josh Barnett's Bloodsport, where you could only fucking submit your opponent or KO opponent. Cal Jack fucking picks up his opponent in a no rope ring and throws that motherfucker up against a fucking brick wall. That's what Cal Jack did, and that's who fucking helped Francis Ngannou with his fucking wrestling. Again, say what you want. You could say whatever you want. The fact of the matter, as we sat here, right, Francis Ngannou is still evolving, right? He's, legendary. This is like we've seen The Blind Side, right? With the gentleman, right, with the learning disabilities and whatever, and gets taken in by the family and everything like that. That was a damn near Oscar winning movie. We've seen Cinderella Man, right? We've seen all of this. We've seen it over the top. All of these fucking movies that fucking cite everything that fucking David Goggins is talking about. Get off your ass and just fucking do it, right? And yeah, man, it's just fucking great, man. And Harvey's saying Francis' story is a great one. I can't believe that Francis Ngannou and Cyril Gane made 600,000 and 500,000 respectively. And I hate that too. I think they should have made much more. But again, they're at the mercy of the UFC. And until something fucking changes, right? If they was like, hey, as great of a fight and a great of a showing as it is for Francis, they could have been like, before they made the walkout, they could have both agreed, hey, we're not going out unless we get $1 million each.
You want them to Ultimate Warrior them?
Oh, yeah, Ultimate Warrior, right? That didn't happen. And what we did see is a display, an assault that Francis Ngannou basically perpetrated on Cyril Gane that nobody was expecting. Cyril Gane, the 16 plus thousand people at the fucking Honda Center, there are millions of people watching around the world. None of us were ready for that. I mean, you could tell, hindsight 2020, you could say that you were ready for it. No, I wasn't fucking ready. I was happily fucking surprised at Francis Ngannou, right? And again, he basically stepped away for everything, right? Everything that you know about him, every cachet, knockout power, all that shit. Oh, he can't get past the second round, blah, blah, blah. All of that shit. There were points where his mouth was just, he's breathing out of his mouth. After the first round, right, going into the second and shit like that. I'm not saying Cyril Gane didn't land shots, because he fucking did. There's a fucking hook to Francis's body. I was like, oh shit, it might be over. Cyril Gane, as hard as he is.
And you know what? One thing, that right there is just one example of those Africans. You know what I'm saying? They just need an opportunity. Hey, I want to apologize. I want to be the first one to apologize for all the internet scams or whatnot that my people, you know what I'm saying, that my people have committed against the world. But you have to understand, these people go to school with the highest education. They become doctors and lawyers and whatnot, and there are no jobs. There are no jobs. They gotta eat. You almost can't blame them. Francis is an example. It is his hunger that drove him across that desert. It is his hunger that drove him across the seas, risking his life. If you don't know, research on it, on his trip across the desert and the seas, I mean, these things are he cheated death. He cheated death, and for him to make it this far, and you expect nothing but what you've witnessed. Him evolving as a fighter is easy compared to the torment that he's already faced in his lifetime. This is easy stuff. You know what I'm saying? The people that doubted him, like that team that he came from, they should have been ready for this. They were not prepared. They assumed he wasn't going to evolve, that he was going to rely on just his power, and they game plan for just that. But they didn't expect him to evolve as a wrestler. They didn't expect him or his team. They didn't respect his team enough to see that there's a possibility that they can bring in the gentleman that you spoke of, that super wrestler, to come work with him. They didn't anticipate this. This is what happens when you underestimate your opponent. They underestimated their opponent in that coaching staff at Extreme Couture. This is what happened. They realized they had the ace in the hole in the beautiful striking and excellent footwork and excellent grappling of Cyril Gahn. But they didn't equip Cyril Gahn with the desire to win from within. Cyril Gahn was fighting for his teacher. You cannot win this way. You cannot win this way. When you fight someone else's battle, you cannot really win this way, especially when your opponent is as formidable as Francis. Francis is fighting for a country. He's fighting for a country. He's fighting so that another kid in Cameroon that is dreaming of of something great to happen, a savior to come to his country and save him like Francis dreamed in the past. And it didn't happen. He has now become that person, and he's bringing the dream to his people. This is what Francis is fighting for. While Cyril Gahn, who comes from wealth, yes, the East, the West is wealth. When you come from France, that is wealth. I don't care if you come from the ghettos of France. You get to eat. You get to eat. You get to go to school. You know what I'm saying? You get all the luxuries of life. So Cyril Gahn might have come from the slums of Paris or wherever. I don't care. Because that does not compare to what Francis has seen. You know what I'm saying? It does not compare at all. So their motivation, the magnitude is different. This is why Francis could not lose. Even when he had him in that heel hook. You want to tell me you couldn't heel hook that big ass foot? That heel that sticks out about that much off his foot? You couldn't heel hook that? He could have done it. But the will to win was greater in Francis. Francis would have been okay if you ripped his leg off and left it in that ring. He would have been fine as long as he got the W. As long as he got the W, he would be fine. The desire from within was not there, which is why someone of the caliber of Cyril Gahn lost that match, a match he was destined to win, but he lost because it wasn't his destiny. You know, in people's eyes, it was his destiny, but it wasn't his destiny. It was Francis's destiny. And now look at where we're at. Francis has gotten himself another talking point so he can further negotiate his contract with the UFC for another year if he has to. He won't be doing anything anyway. He doesn't have to fight. He'll do another interim, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And it's all good. He'll sit while he continues to negotiate his contract. Winning this match gave him another card in which he can fight against his opponent, and that is the UFC.
No, 100%. And just showing you the man in question, that is the Grizzly Cal Jack. Go ahead and shoot him a follow over on the Twitter as well as the Instagram. But for those who can't see it, yep, time for the main event. And that is the gentleman clad in the black shirt with Francis Ngannou. And I mean, he was tweet heavy in this particular contest. Time for the main event, right? I'm fucking nervous. He also says, "Let's fucking wrestle," right? You know, and Francis wrestling looked good. I wonder why. I'll see you guys later. Hashtag and still, right? And again, don't believe me. Talk about arguably one of the greatest draws in UFC history in Chael Sonnen, the American Gangster. Let's get some audio here. This is him talking about
might have helped Surreal.
So okay.
He knows some things that I'm going to want to do. I know everything that he plans to do. So yes, our sparring might have helped Surreal. But trust me when I tell you, the advantage comes to me. What does he mean by that? It's halfway, it's somewhat a deep philosophical thought, isn't it, guys? And as I look at that to give my interpretation to what was basically poetry by the champion, I think he's talking about the gains that he's made. I think what he's trying to say, and just didn't want to be unsportsmanlike, is Surreal is the same guy today as he was then. And he was very good then, but he's the same guy today as he was then. I am not. He knows some things that I'm going to want to do.
Yeah.
I know everything that he plans to do.
Right.
So yes, our sparring.
Yeah, so there it is. It's still playing. It's still fucking playing. But essentially, kind of given the fact that there hasn't been any evolution in Cyril Gahn's game, and Cyril Gahn, for somebody that pre-COVID wasn't even on the UFC roster, he's done pretty well. Amassed himself a interim championship. But again, it's not about the game; it's how you play it, right? That's the theme song of one Triple H, right? That's essentially what happened here, And Shaman Steve says it's Michael O'Hare from The Blind Side, who played for the Detroit Lions, I believe it was. Yeah. So again, everything that you believe in and want to believe in as somebody that overcoming a tremendous adversity, right, and coming through and shining and becoming the champion that they innately felt they could be, or somewhere along the lines, if they didn't believe it innately, someone somewhere believed in them where others didn't and pushed them to the path of success, right? Challenged them in ways that they haven't been challenged before, and just like you said, with everything that Francis basically went through, to come overseas, to get through to Paris and all of that jazz, right? Learning wrestling is a monicon of what he's gone through as a personal, going through this thing called life, as Prince says. So again, everything. I mean, I can't wait to see how this newly improved Francis Ngannou goes up against guys like fucking Curtis Blades, who's been angling for a fucking title shot and whatever.
Tom
Yes,
Aspinall.
Yeah, Tom Aspinall. Let's fucking do that. There's a lot of exciting things, finally getting that fucking Derek Lewis shit that we wanted in the first place. That the UFC itself fucking threw a curveball and basically, went with fucking Gone and Black Beast for the interim title. There's so many possibilities. And again, with this evolution of Francis, I don't know what we're gonna see next, and I'm more than cautiously, I'm absolutely enthralled the fact that we're seeing this side of Francis, grappling that we in a heavyweight division that wowed us, like when Frank Mir used to do it, when Josh Barnett used to do it, right? You didn't think these big juggernauts, these gargantuans, could be capable of such a wrestling prowess. And that's what we're getting out of Gone, who was absolutely unexpected to perform this way. So I am fucking excited.
Hey, we have to give credit to that Stipe fight. Stipe Miocic was the one that changed him forever.
Yeah.
Stipe showed him that you cannot rely on just the power of your hands. He struggled for that. He struggled through that for for some time, about a year or more.
Yeah,
He struggled
more
with it,
than a year.
but then he gave into it. You see, he gave into it. This is it. This is the secret. This is the key to growth. You have to realize. You have to be able to see the mistakes. See, when I work with the kids, and a lot of time I correct them. I say, "Hey, man, this is wrong. That is wrong." But then when I try to correct them, and they're like, "Oh, this, and that. I think I did this, and that." I already know that immediately in that moment, growth is happening because now they're able to identify their own mistakes. If I'm the one that's always saying, "Hey, your foot is wrong," or your heel is wrong, or this is wrong, and they can't see it, it's all my talk is a waste of time. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time because they never change. But once they start to identify the mistakes themselves while they're doing their forms, then they can fix it. Francis Ngannou was able to identify his mistake, which is not respecting the ground. And 3 years ago, he mentioned they began the work to fine tune his ground. 3 years he's put into this before he finally had the opportunity to show what he's actually learned. And bam, there you have it.
Yeah.
He's actually learned something.
No, 100%. And also, we talked about Francis. We talked about the Grizzly Cal Jack, or Clayton Jack, as he's kind of known otherwise. Maybe the government name, but also Eric Nixick, right, of Extreme Couture, right, who's as well as Dewey Cooper, right. Them formulating a game plan for Francis like that, executed to absolute utter perfection. Fuck yes, man. I love it, man. And again, surrender, and I
Hey,
believe it's the surrender
Black
to
Beast
the
has
greatness
no
that you're
chance.
supposed to be. Huh?
I said for sure now the Black Beast has no chance
Oh
of
yeah.
beating Francis
No.
because that cardio that Francis has got now, that cardio, good luck, Derek
Yeah.
Lewis. Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
As fast as Cyril Gone is, he couldn't stick him with the shot
Yep.
to put him out.
Yeah.
Derek Lewis is not that fast.
Nope.
He only lands in occasions of chaos.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have the footwork of Cyril Gone.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Francis is a new fighter, a more collect fighter. Oh, you're in trouble. You're in trouble, Derek Lewis.
Yeah.
That's my word.
Yeah. So again, we can't wait to see what's next for Nagano. Thanks for playing, fucking Cyril Gone. And I mean, come back and try again. That's what I got. An evolution of inspiration. No, 100%, 100%. But thank you for inspiring us to continue on with this show, which is simulcast on not just the According to Woods page, not just the Voodoo in the Woods page, but also bodyslam.net and all of their social
Yeah.
media deals. Go ahead and shoot a subscription and a follow where it's applicable. But for Voodoo,
Yeah.
where can they find you on social media?
Definitely Voodoo Maximus on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook page, Twitter, and Snapchat. Yeah, Snapchat. Let's go.
Yes, and we will be going pretty soon. But if you're in that subscribing and following deal, hey, According to Woods. According to Woods is where you can get the Principal Podcast on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. And then, if you want dumb shit memes of people getting dumped on their head or just dumb shit dad memes, I got you. Don't worry. I'm your hookup. So According to Woods across the board is where you can find me. Again, like, share, and subscribe to the Voodoo in the Woods podcast on all of the social media streams that we're bringing this shit to you. And we're going to bring this shit again because fights are coming back. Fights coming back,
Yeah.
all left, right, and center. So we got Bellator, we got some LFA, we got we just had an LFA. Shout out to the folks who competed at the LFA this past Friday night. The commentary team of Joe Ban, and I mean it's fuck yes. Bellator is coming back. PFL is coming back. I'm so excited, and I'm so excited to share this great sport of combat sports. This great theory of the evolution of track of us human beings, right? Something that we have innately, right, is a
Yeah.
fight or flight. and we get to discuss it in real time, in real form, with one of the best good brothers in the world, former U of MMA champion, and again, this guy with the face for radio. But we will be seeing you probably next Thursday, a really late night,
Yeah.
in the lead up to the UFC fight night that is upon us. Like 6 days from now, literally on Saturday next week. So we will see you soon with more Voodoo in the Woods. You guys have a kick-ass week, and thank you guys for being kick-ass. Continue to kick-ass, and we are... fuck, I didn't run the promo.